Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to it. The boys are back to business.
Yibu.
This time we are in Centurion with a very special guest.
Special. Hip-hop royalty.
Yeah, this is definitely hip-hop royalty.
Lie to me, I like it.
Nah, we're not lying, you know.
Do you like that though? That tag on you, hip-hop royalty.
It's cool. I mean, especially if it's said because it's earned. Then yeah, I can take that. You know,
You don't think you earned it
That's
by
cool.
now?
I do.
Nah, you've definitely earned it by now.
From like just, you know, how one raps to also just been doing it for 15 years. Come on, bro.
So it's 15 years now.
It's been 15 years.
So
my
you're
G.
34, you started when you were 19.
Yeah.
Really? 19?
Yeah. And I'm even like talking about working with Slikour and them. You know, I'd been rapping from before. So I'm just counting from maybe your first radio airplay type thing. You know, when it was commercially out there, this Kwesta name. You know, but there was years put in before I met Slikour and them. But I'm not counting those.
So how did you get to work with Bada Bing and Ventilation and all those guys? How did that come about?
Yo, I don't think anyone does this anymore. But it was literally a demo, dog. I literally recorded a demo, found out where their offices were, and I took that shit there. And I was hoping they bump it and it like changes everybody's lives, but they didn't bump it. The first words were, "Nah, we just worked with an artist. We're not looking to sign anyone or anything," you know. And I'm like, sheesh, I have to go back to Katlehong, you know, with bad news for anyone who knew that I was going there. But then they fucked up and listened to it a couple days later, you know. and that's when Slikour called. He's like, "Hey man, we bumped this shit." And I think it was JJ who forced him to play it. They were working with a guy called JJ Sising, and he had bumped it and then said, "Yo, Slick, you gotta hear this shit," you know. And Slick listened and he called and said, "Yo, shit, we played it. There's no way we can let go of this, you know. Zwagala, let's talk, let's see what we can do, you know." And that's when I started getting on the road with them and performing. I'm not experienced or performer foot at that time, you know, but I'm backing Slick up. I'm his hype man sort of thing. And every now and then I get a chance to do like a song or two in his set, you know. Yeah, and that's how everything started. Got the name out and, you know, 15 years later.
So were you rapping like in English or Vernac by that time?
I'd already started mixing at that time, you know. Initially, Mangkala, in the beginning, was just all English, you know, because that's how you know of hip-hop first. I mean, your favorite artists are all American and things, so you know hip-hop through English, you know, because everyone you've heard raps in English. It's not until I heard like Squatter Camp that I started sort of going, oh, I could rap. Let's do, you know, Squatter Camp. I don't know if you guys know H2O.
Yes, I know
also,
H2O.
you know. But what really like kind of made me believe it was like a thing was, you know, the GOAT Pro, you know, Pro Kid was like, that's when I was like, I gotta go after this, you know, because everything else was like, I could appreciate it from there. And I go, yo, that's dope. But Pro was the one that kind of made me want to do it and go, yo, you can take it all the way, you know, rapping this way, you know what I mean?
So would you say like Pro like changed the whole outlook on SA hip hop? Like he was literally like I'll say the forefather of Vernac rap, popularizing it in South Africa.
I mean, like I said, Joba, Bigno H2O and Squatter Camp and many others were already rapping in Vernac. You know, what Pro did is like the way he flowed on it, like the punchlines addition, you know, it wasn't just about, yo, I'm gonna just talk about stuff that's in the hood, you know, and money. It was like, it was so clever. It was so rapid also. It could be fast, it could be slow. It had 60 punchlines in one verse, you know what I mean? It was just incredible to see at the style that he brought into it. I think that's what caught my ear more than just rapping in Vernac. It's really, I think he's a forefather of the Vernac punchline, hard, you know, type stuff, you know, and punchlines were there, but half the time a guy would build up a verse or build up to the punchline in English and then switch up a word or two so that it's like a Vernac punchline. But Pro like built up the whole thing. The whole verse would be 90% Vernac, you know, Krotanjabo is Naboaz, you know, but generally the whole thing was Vernac and the whole thing had punchlines. It was just everyone, I'm sure it happened to everyone. As soon as everyone heard that Pro do that, it was like everything's about to change because we've never heard it like this. You know, we've heard Vernac, but not like this, you know. And that's what I gravitated towards. Also, I was like, yo, I love that, you know. Yeah.
So when you're working, or when you were at Bada Bing, like, what were you exactly doing? Because I'm guessing you're not only his backup, not backup. What's this guy which goes on
Opening
Hype man.
Nah, hype man.
The hype man.
Yeah, I guess you're not only doing that because it was also a growing company. So I'm sure you had to like take a lot of things at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, primarily, you know, ekas being span available record, you know, I mean, in the very beginning, there was no equipment, no studios, no nothing. So we'd kind of just, you know, use these earpieces. Yeah, like with the mic that comes all the way here.
Right.
And that software we had could only record like a minute of everything. So we'd have to patch in the minutes bit by bit, you know. But, and then studios started coming up in the hood, you know. Some guys, AMS, their name was AMS
That
Records.
was the first studio you went into.
Yeah, that was the first professional looking studio. And it was literally two streets from Etladlin, you know. This is in Nkhaotic. The guys were primarily from Etogoza, which is like a neighboring hood from mine. And the parents had just bought that house, so they all came in and just set up, you know. They were well off, you know. I don't want to say cheese boys because the personality didn't say that, you know what I mean? Yeah, but the guys were still, you know, were guys, you know what I mean? And they wanted to grind on their own, so they instead said, maybe get us this equipment, and we'll figure it out, you know. And when they moved in, that's when I started recording better quality stuff and things like that. So, and that didn't end. So even when I met Slikour and Smacks, I kept recording, you know. And even at the Bada Bing offices, I was recording. So half the time, if we're not on the show, I'm recording. And it wasn't necessarily because I was working on an album. It's just all I knew how to do. And, you know, I was recording Vela before I met them, and I continued. So, yeah, if they weren't taking me to shows, I having said studio and record until we did like something, a mixtape that C-Live hosted, you know, with myself. That was like the first sort of project.
C-Live, the producer.
C-Live is a DJ. Yeah,
he's dark in complexion.
He's light skin.
He's the guy with the gap. Nah,
he's light skin. He's a legend in this
space. There's a young guy called also C-Live.
Oh yeah?
I think C-Live or something like that, yes.
I mean, it's you can only do so much with a name like Clive, you know. So
Yeah.
Shout out C-Live, you know. He's like a legend, and he agreed to kind of host this mixtape for me, and we did that. That was like the first project that came out, but it was free. It was like it was hosted on ventilation.co.za, and we had some copies given away for free. So me and Mpana, when we were not working, I was literally just in studio, and then eventually, it then started a conversation of maybe we should make an album, and you know, we made an album called Special Request. But in between the shows, Mina being recorded, there was not much to do in that space. I literally had to wait. Yo, you are needed at this place for this, that, and the third. You know, whether it's an interview or it's a flight to catch for this. You know, and they've been in Tlantla because as I started working at Bada Bing, they had just clinched some deal to do like a Sprite hip hop tour. You know, and they placed me there as one of the judges, you know, which was like it's like a tour where you'd go around all the provinces and whoever wants to rap can rap, and it's like a competition. People can judge who they like. And
did you feel like you wanted to be on the competition yourself?
More than not, yes. I didn't want to be in the judges. Yeah, I wanted to rap with the pros, you know. But you know, at this point, it was I didn't have a lot of say in many things, and it would be seen as unfair because you're already working with. But I'm like, yeah, but I haven't made the name, bro. This is like the perfect, you know. But I mean, I'd get a chance to rap, either perform a song, you know, or just a freestyle or this, that, and the third, you know. So I'd be able to, but I wasn't competing.
Were you making coins then?
Yeah, that's the first time I got paid. That's the first time I'd ever gotten paid for anything I'd done musically, you know. I think the total payment of everything was 12,000 rand. But you know, it's like a whole tour throughout the whole country.
Are they mind?
Yeah, you know, I mean, but I mean,
12,000 for the whole country.
Dog, let me tell you, are this kid who's doing nothing, who's you know, I'm just happy to be around these guys. Yeah, this is me 1920. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and good money.
And there's like tear gas here, there's Murafe here, there's squatter camp here, I'm in that conversation. I don't give a fuck about them.
You know what I mean? Care of accommodation and
I didn't have to spend it. They even give you per diems, you know, like your daily money. Like you don't even have to spend the money that you've been paid. You know what I mean? But I did spend it because I lost my head because I thought I was rich. You know,
That's what happens when you get that amount of money when you are young. You think like,
yo, the world is.
Dog, I remember I got like 15K when I was like 21.
Yes.
I thought I had made it.
Yeah, dog, I did the same.
Yes.
My mind was there too. I thought I made it. And you know what I did? I got on a bus and went to Durban and said, fuck it, man. I'll just, there's a producer, his name is K Master, does a lot of Zago and Duncan stuff. I was working with him now. We just decided to go to Durban and work on music. I think we made one song in Durban and we just blew the 12, And here at home, Slick, Smacks, Naves, everybody's just trying to call me. Going, yo, there's work to do. There's this, that. Now I'm in Durban living it up because I'm rich.
And what did you tell them? Did you tell them that you're going
Yo,
to
bro, I
record?
had to come back and all the money's gone.
Yeah.
And when I came back, I had to, and Smacks was shooting a video for a song called Munatiso. And when I came back, they were on set for that video, But I won't lie, DJ Naves held me down for that because he kind of advised me of how to approach it and say, man, And I spoke to the guys and thank God they understood. I mean, Nabo Bebana experience, I'm sure they had seen shit like this happen before.
I'm sure they were laughing wherever they are.
Yeah. And to me, I'm like, yo, I pissed the whole thing away. I pissed it all away, the guys had a bigger plan and a bigger picture and understood and said, I know, just stop fucking around. And
would you say in
on.
that whole time when you were that side, you're not the most lyrical, you are the most lyrical artist there, and you kind of intimidated a lot of people being young?
Are you saying at Bing or just generally?
At Bing. Because you were young, you were like exciting in terms of, rapping and everything. Like, don't you think you intimidated a bunch of people? I
mean, I don't think Slicker and Smacks would have a reason to be intimidated. They'd done it all, Summer Awards, they had a platinum album. I mean, they were working on their solos. So, I mean, whatever I was about to see.
You know what you bring? You bring that thing of the time is almost done for you. Because now there's new characters. Stuff now.
Yeah, I mean, but I think if thoughts like that happened, they were more personal for them because I didn't feel the energy, that was like, yo, I asked Funwens, I can't just Funwens. So the energy wasn't like weird about me being around, They did have the artist to Tito. Tito Minato was an artist in a group called Zulu Mob. And he was working his solo stuff at Bada Bing also, But I think with what I brought, it kind of moved in front of that. They moved it in front of Tito. Also not because, I was now in favor. I just didn't stop working, I mean, my demo had about 30 songs on it. You know what I mean? And when I started working, I'd made probably another 20-some songs when I started working with the guys. So it was almost like, okay, where's the album? Nah, the album is ready, so let's drop that. You know
You're
what I mean?
always ready.
I was just always ready with anything, dog. And it wasn't, I don't want to talk about it like it's like some sort of thing I knew, and I had a hang up. I just wanted to rap. That's all I wanted to do. I was just like, yo, turn on the mic, play the beat. That's really all I wanted to do. I wasn't thinking about, yo, where is this going to take me? So I had many joints, and by the time it was time to drop an album, the artist they had Utido, the only difference was that he didn't have the music. I'd probably made 3 albums at that time, and that was really the difference. So I don't think it was also because of energies or being blocked or being favored. I just had the music ready.
I remember being in primary school and watching, I think I was like in grade 6 or 7, and I was watching Running with the Raps. And they were doing some choreography, and they were like, yeah, we're doing Kwesta's video. And I was like, who's Kwesta, And I think they were doing the Like That or something like that.
Yeah, it's Take That.
Take that. I remember. And that was my first time ever seeing a Kwesta. You look so young back then.
Yeah, I was skinny as well, I still am, but I was worse coming up. Like being like that's how you describe me. Oh, that's skinny, bro. You know what I mean? On a candle cool. That's But
so how did you like end up working with Running with the Raps? And was that like your first single where you had a video and everything and it was like on national TV and stuff?
It wasn't the first video I'd ever done, I think it was like the first one with like so much PR because Running with the Raps is already doing a very successful reality show out here, and this rapping kid is kind of bubbling under, is making a name for himself as this punchline guy. Because I mean, I dropped a song called Stomp before that. That was the first video I ever shot. I dropped a song called Flavor, which was a video mixed in two. Like the one song was Flavor, the other was Flash It, but it was one video. And
you're doing that back then.
Yeah,
it's popular now. That thing where in between the song, it
the
changes.
song switches up. Yeah, we're doing it back then, you know. And I had another joint which was like a very sort of Maskandi like type situation, fused into hip hop and things, you know. And this is back then, you know. And then Take That was then after the album. You know, it was after the album. I think it was 2011, and I dropped the album in 2020. I mean, in 2010. You know, in the top of 2011. That's when the sort of collab between myself and Running with the Reps happened, or the repertoires. You know, I'm not even sure who had the initial conversation, to tell you the truth. I also knew the guys because we'd bump into each other at clubs, but I'd never really had the conversation about it. So it could be Slikour, anyone who was in the office. I was just like, again, I just want to make the music, you know. And it was dope that we shot that video because it had so many cameos, you know, like DJ Naves was still alive, you know, Tando Tabete, you know, it was just Dineo Ranaka, you know, and all these people are like, you know, people that I've been watching and wanting to meet, you know. So that was pretty cool, you know. That was dope. That's how that sort of thing happened. I think you found out about me because you already knew about the Reps.
Yeah, I was already watching.
Yeah,
I was like, these young guys living in a big ass house, you know. They were like the cool kids on TV.
They were, bro. Yo, they were. So that thing was just unbelievable, even for me, you know. And at the time, the club really didn't want to play our songs, you know, because I don't know, they were talking about formats and things, and it's not, you know, and they're playing a lot of the American hip hop, you know, a lot of the American hip hop. There was crunk, and I think it was the introduction of trap and stuff like that, and that was dominating the clubs and things. And we wanted to sort of make the joint that was like kind of going to be clubby, and that's one of like the first joints that I would walk into a club and just hear. But even that took like, you know, a lot of convincing of the DJs. Not everybody believed the first time they heard it, you know.
I mean, I wanted to talk to you about, before we get too far in your music career, I wanted to talk about like, you used to be a battle rapper.
Yeah.
And like, tell me about that journey, like, because there's not much battle rappers that actually make it out. Like in the industry, they don't actually blow up.
Yeah.
I know of probably like, from the top of my head, I can think of Reason, Story T, you. I don't know any.
I mean, there's a bunch. Well, you're right about that, because not a lot of people I was battling with, I'm bumping into now, you know, in the spaces I'm in. So, you're right. I mean, Reason was a battle rapper. He's from my hood, but we never really rapped together, you know. We never really battled or anything like that, you know. It was just, oh yeah, he's from there and I'm from here, and we'd make a couple joints, but we never battled, you know. And I don't know how I did it, man. It was like really just the opportunity of being able to go into studio, because a lot of the times these guys that battle are dope lyricists, you know. They can construct a line like, you know, like a lot of the commercial rappers can't, in a way that a lot of them can't. But when you put them in studio on music. A beat, it becomes like, you know, it's a little tough for them. So I've always like I went to studio in my little sort of mic thing. Yeah, so I almost knew how to record and almost knew how to listen to a beat at the same time that I was battling, you know. So I'm sharpening the skill of making songs while I'm, you know, every now and then thrown into a battle and things like that, you know. So when you know the one thing, it's hard to shift to the next. But I didn't have to make too much of a shift because it was all almost happening at the same time.
You know,
when I was battling, I was already doing my shitty recordings at the crib. You know, Nomkolo Nota, and I was like one of the only ones in Lankula Corner was rapping, you know. I'd heard of guys before, you know. There was a group called Dark Matter, you know, and I'd heard about them and things, but
why do you give yourself those weird names?
Trust me,
it was those guys.
When you hear Dark Matter, you're like, whoa, I'm scared.
Yeah. They were those guys with the catalyptical, it was that.
Look at your face. No, but you know what I want to know really, like, what draws you to being a battle rapper? Because being like a normal commercial hip hop rapper, it's, you know, there's a lot of things that can throw you from the outside. There's glitz, you know, the glam, the hands.
I mean, I don't think I was
battle rappers get hands, eh?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
There's no hands. Those situations.
You'd be shocked.
Just see niggas doing this.
You'd be shocked.
And there's not a lot
to them, bro.
Nothing.
Maybe one walking past and she's not even looking at your. She's like, what's going
the
on
hand
there?
is the MC. She's also like a hip hop head. She's the only hand.
And that's the only that hand. Do you know what's the problem with that hand?
One.
she only dates the most hip hop nigga in there. You don't know your hip hop shit. You ain't getting it.
You ain't with it. She ain't with it.
Dog, and she doesn't even listen to you. But you're saying?
I mean, I wasn't really drawn into it. You know, it was there. You know, the guys were doing it. It's not like I started sort of a movement of sorts. You know, it was there. I was already listening to hip hop, and they told me this was part of hip hop. Right?
Yeah,
because it's not like at the time I could just shoot up YouTube and, you know, I not a computer at that time, you know, and YouTube is not really a big thing at the time. I don't even know if it existed. But we're talking like what, 2004, 2005. Right?
It actually came 2006.
What's that?
YouTube started in 2006.
Yeah, so you know there was no such thing. That's why I had to go take the demo there, and I didn't send a link. Say, yo, check out my shit. You know, but I mean, it was just there. It was outside. It was basic scale. You know, when I went to school, a few of us would just, you know, come together and rap. We're still very. It's not like now where almost everybody is a rap head or a hip hop head in the schools. We were like the few that would sit in that little corner, and people look at us weird. And I was even weirder because I didn't even dress like it. Like I dressed, my pants were always up. You know, I never sagged really. I never looked like a rapper, which is what worked for me in battles a lot of the time because the guy would already think he won. You know, like suga ningchala you know, and I'm like then you know, so they'd always go first. And I was always better at like rebuttals, at responding, at replying more than you know, being the first to say, you know, to disrespect the hustle or this, that, and the third. But I wasn't drawn into it, man. It was just around me, and I'd already loved hip hop, and they said to do hip hop, you have to be better than this guy, and to be better than this guy, you kind of have to battle it out, you know, and do that, you know, and that took us to like your YFMs and things. Your YFM had a show called Rap Activity Jam. I went there, you know, I won a couple episodes and won the month, and you know, and it was really dope. And also Season Scoop came in and kind of revived it. But when I went to Season Scoop, I think I was already working with Slick and Smacks in them, you know. So that was, I mean, it was the way, it was what you needed to do.
It was your
to
rite
be
of
noticed.
passage.
Yeah, it was the passage.
Oh,
you know,
you need to chow other niggas.
Yeah, that's just what it was. That's just what. Pause that. But, you know, that's how it was.
Battles.
How much credit would you give to having an infrastructure like Bada Bing? Because there's a lot of talented kids in the hood. You know what I mean? But then they don't usually get to make it within the circles like in the north where the industry really is ran from.
Yeah.
So how much credit would you give to the whole infrastructure of Slikour that they've built over there for new talent like you guys to come in and sort of make the moves for you guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's extremely important, you know, because the one thing you don't have is resource and access, you know, when you're coming up and you have this talent. But if guys are going to say to you, yo, come use our resource, come use our platform, come, we can put you on TV and we could do that. You know, that for me is something that probably would have been further from me had I not had a chance you'll get Bada Bing, you know. So I appreciate that moment in my life, and I think it sort of put me in the game before I was even ready, probably. You know, it was like I could see things, and I can try and make up my own mind, or I can ask questions, you know, but I'm in the spaces that I need to be in so that this thing goes further, you know. So I think trying to create platforms like that is one, selfless, and two, extremely, extremely necessary, you know. And it's not even just for hip hop, it's like for everything, you know. There's the development of soccer in this country is shit. It's terrible, you know. But if we had more of that, if we had more platforms, and more, it'd be better, you know. And yeah, so it's up to the people that are already inside to kind of try and go, yo, let's give bro a chance, you know. But a lot of the time we want to hold on to things for way longer than effectively.
Don't you think they hold on because by the time they're actually getting what they've always wanted, let's say financially, success, that's when the time they have to be out. Because the infrastructure in the industry is so bad that only in your late 8 years you start getting what you have to.
And then it's time to leave also.
Yeah,
because it's like so this is true. But it's also slowed down because there's not a lot of these platforms that are trying to do it honestly, you know, that are trying to do it solely because of just wanting to give the other guy a chance. You know, a lot of the time we do it because we think we can also get something out of it, which is fair. It's a business, you know, I guess, you know what I'm saying? But if the driving force is not trying to change a person's life, then chances are it won't change the person's life, or it might get them exposed to certain things, but it won't be enough because that's not what drives you anymore. So you're trying to look cool through somebody else, you know. A lot of the times this is what a lot of the things end up being, you know. Everybody wants to be in the front eventually, you know. if I've been here 15 years, right, and I start working with an artist, I'm trying to look cool, or I'm trying to send a message that says I'm still cool. That's why I'm working with this person. Yeah. I'm not really working with this person to see them there. You know, I still want shit said about me. I still want mentions. I still, you know, and so the problem is that sometimes you create, or you try to create these platforms, be ready. Even yourself, you know, a lot of these companies are not ready. It's a great thing to want to do it, but to be a hands-on and still be you need to give it to somebody else, man.
Yeah.
You know, that doesn't share the same interest as the artist you're working with, you know, because it does get a little tricky if you're all going for the same number one spot on the chart with your artist and yourself. You know, it's like, hey, why are you getting more bookings? Or what? You know what I mean? But it gets tricky also because there's no real manuals for this thing, you know. Sometimes, a lot of the time, people get things wrong when they're trying to do something right. You know, it's not always like bad intention. You know.
Now, where did it fall apart with Bada Bing?
It really didn't. You know, well, we didn't fight. If you know, we didn't get in an argument or this, that, and the third. I just thought it was time. You know, I'd been there 5 years, and I just really wanted to kind of try out my own thing and see what I could do with what I've, you know, learned here and the things I knew. I mean, at the time I was already, you know, working with like your Smashes, you know, Zing and Kid X, you know, and we were like forming this little clique like thing, you know, where we'd, you know, just hang out and just rap, you know, which then eventually turned into
were you meant to be part of Kwesta?
No. Nah, it wasn't like that, you know. And yeah, which then turned into a tour called the Hangover Tour. But at that time, I mean, my relationship with Bada Bing didn't sour up or go weird, you know. I think I just want to give this a shot and this, that, and the third.
It's so sad because they didn't actually like get to see your peak, you know what I mean? I feel like your peak years were way past
after
the Bada Bing phase.
But I mean, I hope it well, how I've always seen it. We still have a relationship, you know, we still talk, you know, and the conversation is like, yo, if our role was to do that, so you can go there, that's cool. You know what I mean? That's all good. You know, everybody's got you can't take the person, or not all the time. You can't take them fully to where they can be. You know, at some point you have to let go. And so my contribution ends here. You know, I can't feel like I can contribute any more further than this. You know, or even if the artist feels that, you know, you have to accept it and go, okay. Sheesh, yeah, okay, let's see now, you know. But that's the general feeling around, you know. I mean, the first platform I ever got, I was given by Slikour and Sugar Smacks and Bada Bing, and for that, for me, is the beginning of Kwesta. Everything else was that sort of, you know, morphing itself into a success story. But the beginning was with Bada Bing, and that's the platform, and that's how I've always looked at my career. That's why when I say 15 years, I'm counting like that's the first time I met Slick and Smacks. You know, it was 15 years ago. That's how I got in, you know.
So tell me, bro, where does Kwesta on his journey start? Like, where do you meet Abo, Nota, Leroy? Where do you start with you being a solo artist? Like,
so 2012, I think, is when I left Bada Bing. I mean, I was signed in 2006 or 2007 or something. And then 2012.
Sign like contract and...
Nah, man, it was always conversation.
Yeah, co-sign. Rude handshake.
It was, yeah. I mean, Nah. There was no sort of formal signature and things, you know.
It was just like, what do they call them? Gentleman's handshake.
Yeah, gentleman's handshake.
And I was just happy to be there anyway, man. You know, I mean, you know. But 2012, to answer you, 2012 is when that's the year I kind of told Bada Bing that, you know, out and this, that, and the third. I mean, I didn't necessarily have a plan. Nota was working at Bada Bing, you know. But I think by the time I left, he had already gone. You know, he had already left Bada Bing by the time I was leaving, you know. And I mean, but we're still always together. We're like, the clique was myself, Cash, Kid X, Smash, you know, we'd always go to Katlehong and rap some joints there because Nkhaotic, there's a guy of mine who had like a Nkhaotic no Smith, no Calvi had like a setup. So we'd always go there and just record some joints. Or if we weren't in Bram, recording joints also, you know, where Smash was posted up and all the other gents, you know. And then conversations started happening just about doing something ourselves, you know, and that started with a tour, right, which was the Hangover tour, which myself,
Zinger.
myself and Cash Time, you know, as the clique, you know, Uyanga was also a part of that shit a lot. Like all the footage that we shot, he was like the director of the whole thing, you know.
Younger Chief, ne?
Yeah, Younger Chief. But he was also rapping, you know. It's just at the time, you know, he was behind the camera, and I mean, people kind of knew the Kwesta and the Cash Time type of thing, so it was an easier thing to do like that. And then we, you know, literally all went on the road for like a whole month, you know, like, you know, I also watched your podcast and your episode with Kid X, you know, and you'll tell, it's like there's not been a lot of tours like that where you're gone the entire time. It's not like, you know, and then I say I'm on tour. That was like a tour. Like we left and came back a month later.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was like real.
Where did you go? Like which cities?
The whole country, bro. We went everywhere.
Were you driving?
Went everywhere. Yeah, we were driving around in an H1. And eventually later on something went wrong. I don't know if we failed to pay or something. And Avis came to take the A1, you know, and then we had to find another one, you know.
Where were you guys when they took it?
I think we were in somewhere in the Eastern Cape. Not sure if East London or something.
Wait, so they came to fetch it on tour?
Cape. Yeah. It was like they sent their people to come get their bus because I think it wasn't paid for, or we owed some kilometers or something. And the Cash had so Cash was like he's like, he's just the guy, you know, more RM than anything, you know. So he's kind of patching things. I don't know what he said to who. When we were trying to get another bus, they said they were out of buses, and he got them to take it out of the depot where they kept the cars, and they took it in them, and voila, we had a new bus, you know. Yeah. But I mean, those are the type of problems we'd be facing, you know. Went to Cape Town and slept in the car, I think.
Yeah.
That's at one of the things, you know, and then went on to break records at some club where they've never made as much money as they did that night when we were there, you know. So it was a lot of highs and a lot of lows, but it was just, you know, a bunch of us sort of just doing the shit we love and trying to take it everywhere. So literally from the Eastern Cape, Durban, Jozi, Cape Town, we literally went everywhere.
Who was funding this though? That's all.
Nobody.
You guys were just doing it out of your own pockets?
Bro, we were doing it. I think the first conversation was like, yo, how much you got? How much you got? How much you got? Okay, let's try see. Oh, we can get a bus. You know, it was literally just that. There was we didn't go to anyone and say, hey, we want money and this, that, and the third and fund this. And we literally just checked ourselves and said, yeah, we can get a bus. We can try hustle accommodation here. So Nota knew a lot of the promoters also, you know, which made it easier to kind of set up shows so that there's purpose of going there. But, you know, would have to figure out what the bus is. Figure out, you know, half the time these guys are not even trying to give you accommodation sometimes. So maybe you have to make a plan of accommodation or come perform here and then drive to where you are performing tomorrow because they have accommodation, but these guys don't. So you have to kind of go, you know, it was
just hustling.
Yeah, no, it was really unscripted. It was happening. And we had a saying throughout the whole tour where we just threw caution to the wind. Which really means just asobona kona, dog. You know, and really that was the whole vibe of the whole thing. It was like caution to the wind to almost everything. So the unfortunate part is that we didn't make any money out of it, but you know, everyone grew and became better from it, you know, in terms of like, it's still something that is not happening today, you know. It's still it's a legendary thing that we did, you know, and we did it ourselves, for ourselves, by ourselves, you know, never needed help. It might have looked funny to other people. This kid is crazy. This is crazy, you know.
Imagine.
But I mean, the memories created there and the bonds created, well, it's and the career is made out of it. It's just, you know, it was a very necessary thing for us to do, and it took its toll on a lot of things. But you know, it's still probably one of the biggest highlights of my career. That tour.
I mean, you guys talk about it all the time. Like, even when you with Kid X, he mentions this is the tour, bro. Even when you with Nota, he's like, guys, that tour was the one.
It's still, that's why I say, and it's probably one of my highlights. I've been able to do a lot of things and achieve quite a lot of things, but that thing, nothing beats it from a feeling point of view, you know. Right now, the things you get, you can go, oh yeah, I did that. And that tour was like, you know, the feeling is different, and nothing has made me feel like that since.
I wanted to ask, Steph. So how do you present yourself? Do you say, okay, so we've got Kwesta, we've got, you know what I'm saying? Do you guys list, or do you guys present yourselves as a package deal?
Yeah, we came, I mean, I think also one of the first steps was to try and see so that everything connects. Where do you have shows? You know, do you have where are your upcoming shows? Or let's add this. So figure shy, nada, figure shy, nada. You know what I mean? But for whatever else that maybe La Vida had spoken to with the promoter would come together. It's like, yo, Kwesta and Cash Time. You know, that's what was being sold. And yeah, so for whatever conversation that were within the tour, it was Kwesta and Cash Time. It was together. And for anything else, it was always like, okay, we're coming to that show because it's a Kwesta booking, but we're bringing Cash Time, also. And we're coming to that show as a Cash Time booking, but we're bringing Kwesta, you know what I mean? And we kind of worked it out like that until at some point, maybe Nalama Kikbes now a pay leader. So everything is now fresh. Like everyone's just, you got to wake up and kind of go, okay, where to now? What's the easiest city to get to, you know, in terms of even traveling, because we're driving, you know, so you can't really come from the Eastern Cape and take a booking in Cape Town. You know, you kind of have to slowly build it up, and just because you're driving, so you kind of move towards Cape Town or towards.
And I can imagine the memories that you guys have amongst the group, yo.
Bro, it's that's what I'm saying to you. Would see, nothing beats it, because the conversations we'd have now, that whenever we're together or whatever, we literally like this. When you say everyone always mentions the tour, it just never not comes up. There's no point where it doesn't come up, you know, because I think for everyone, it's still like that sort of thing, that one thing that we did, you know, it's still, they're still as proud of it as I am, you know. Yeah.
Because I wanted to know, like, practically you guys would pay for your trip to go where you're going, get a tour booking, and then the money from the booking, you'd use it for your next trip. Okay. Because for me, it didn't make sense. Like, you all just woke up and decided to change your lives for a whole month.
Dog, yeah, so whatever money would make, that's what would keep us forward. So if we go as far as maybe too far, let's say a place that's 6 hours away from home, and then we run out of money, that's the story. We out of money. You know, or if they don't want to pay or whatever the situation, we're out of money. There was no
You
plan.
never got stuck, like, besides the car thing, like, okay, no shows, no money, what now?
I mean, I think not really. At some point, we went to some place and got there day after the show because we thought the show was on a certain day. And you know, so the show, it's on a Saturday. Tina Safika Sunday. You know? And we're thinking we came to the show, bro. Like, yo. And when we're getting close to the venue, we're just seeing hundreds and hundreds of people just walking out of some place. It's like it just ended. Like, it's just, it was like an all-nighter type thing. And it's figure late, thinking we're going to sleep. And then later on, we got the show to do. Gandhi, you know, say pay. So there'd be things like that, you know. So, and that means, you know, because you didn't make the show. Right. So now you have to drive to somewhere else and kind of panda a show there so that you can get a place to sleep. You know, so the shows were for a place to sleep and to keep the car moving and, you know, to have some food.
Yeah.
You know, that's really what they're about. That's why Masbuya, ain't nobody had a cent.
Do you feel like it was like a boot camp, like a rap boot camp, artist boot camp, just to get you ready for like the industry?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it can be seen as something that played that sort of role, you know, because I have things now that I went through on that tour, and I'm sure this goes for everyone, that I'm pretty sure no other artist has gone through. You know, so I know some things about that, having gone through that I can't share with another person because they've always had the trip funded, you know, or this, that, and the third. And it's not a bad thing, but you know, when we did that, we literally took ourselves out of the equation and say we're going there to go do this. You know what I'm saying? So yes, it was boot campish, but I mean, it was also, you know, like-minded guys in one spot, just wanting to take over the rap shit, you know, and spread it as far and as wide as possible. You know? Yeah.
Tell me, do you think the artists nowadays are capable of that? Do you think they built from or made out of the same material that artists back then? Because I've spoken to a lot of like white artists, and they would say that they used to go and like they spend a whole 3 months promoting a song, like giving CDs around the country. You guys were doing it with tours. So do you think the artists nowadays would be able to survive in that area? Because then, it wasn't easy to blow up.
I think, I don't know, it's a tricky question, right? Because do they need to know? You know, do they need to go through it, or is it easier for them to just be at the crib and push the music? You know what I'm saying? And you know, you don't want to have to do the things just because the other guys did them. Is this thing necessary? Must I, you know, take away a month of my life and go on tour when I can be at the crib and just load up on Audio Mac and boom and Jew and hit up the streams and hit up the DSPs and my song is out there, my YouTube numbers are crazy. The fuck am I going, you know, why would I put myself through that when there's a way, you know? And then there's also just lessons that you learn that build character. You know, there's things that you go through that build character, which is what I think we went through. You know, there's I think from even, it's not even, because we're not the first to do sort of, you know, let's try it ourselves kind of thing. Let's just, you know, caution to the wind. We'll see. Joe Busho, a lot of Kwaito artists were doing that, selling CDs and things like that. And Basvaisela born herself, you know, that have to go sleep in cars, you know, and blah, blah. So when they needed to do that. That was the way to market stuff. That was the way to get shit to the people, you know. When we were doing it, we needed to do that. That was the quickest and most effective way to get to the people. Yes, there was YouTube and this, but it wasn't as big a deal as it is now, you know. And we went to where the people were. We went and found the fans. We went and said, "Oh, the fans are there. Let's go there." You know what I mean? We didn't, because that's not office, that's not, we can't bring the fans anyway. That's not Maluk Shire, one big concert and boom, let's just do a bunch of shows and just go to hit the same people. You know, that was a necessary thing. But now I don't know if it's necessary, you know, for artists to do that. But then again, that leaves the question, Team. Then how do you then build things like character and things which, you can withstand this and, you know, and for the sake of just understanding and being able to preserve it for when it moves forward, because I mean, Anatia Chaya, no less, you know what I mean? So, you know, how do you keep the integrity of the whole thing if there are things that maybe you didn't go through that you didn't have to? But I mean, it's an age-old question, even in like, you know, real life, where no, go to school, go do this, go blah, blah, tap that down. In podcast, you know? But nowadays, it's a little easier because you can see the success stories of a podcast, of a musician, of you know, and there's so many more options for people than there were back. You had to go to school. That's what they knew. You know, that was the only option to better your life. You know, so when you came up with, I want to rap, it's like, what the fuck? You out of your mind. You know, I've been paying school fees for you all.
It seems like when you pay, they think in your head that books, the knowledge just goes out of your head. They say, you're gonna be a rapper. It's like, all my money's gone.
And then you get blamed for things where they call, the young guys are lazy. The young guys but it's not really that. It's just that they can't do what you did because they have far more options than you do. Like they have many more options than you did. And if they decide that, you know, and I was there's a guy called Gary V. I listen to that guy a lot. He like just does, and he was saying this shit. Like, we call young people lazy, but they just have options that we don't understand. You know, and it's just that. I don't get it. I think it's stupid. Don't fucking do it. You know what I mean? And then the person does it, and boom, he's number one, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And that's pretty insane. You know, because a lot of us just want to hold on to so much knowledge and don't want to learn because we think, hey, it's just batalas as young king. And you know, we're just not operating on the same level of opportunity as you guys. I'm not operating at the same level of opportunity as you guys. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know how your parents feel about doing a podcast, but I would have gotten shit for mentioning that shit. You know, the same way I got shit for rapping, but they didn't understand that I had options. I could take that as an option. You know, and obviously parents are still kind of old school and what you know, and
you're a parent now.
Yeah,
she's
you know?
gonna shock you.
Yeah, I need to. She's 10 now. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of you see where it's going and what she likes and what she doesn't like. You know, and you take yourself out of it because it doesn't matter how you feel, right? You may know, you try guide where you can and try see, okay, maybe let me steer her here and maybe not too far there. But that's really all you can do because you just think that's safer. But I don't know the shit that she knows. Yeah. I know a lot about life, but I'm just saying the opportunities that will be available to her by the time she's maybe after school, by the time she's ready for work or whatever, I'll be clueless. There'll be jobs that don't exist right now when we're having this conversation by the time she's ready for the workplace. So I won't know shit about those. And I'd have to then put in trust and go, you know, just let her run.
The 3 seconds.
And that's what we have to do with rap also. Just, just let niggas run, man.
You see, the 3 seconds we spoke to her, I think Rhea asked her what she wants to do. And definitely you are influencing her life. She says she wants to sing. So I
she does that a lot, bro. And
definitely you're influencing.
I'm like, maybe not because I don't want her to sing. You know?
You want her to go to school.
I don't. If I'd like her to go to school, I'd like her to do. And about the singing, then that's one part that I know would say, okay, shit,
you can help.
I can help with this, you know. I mean, I can learn the technologies if there's new technology. I can learn the new ways of the joints or whatever. I can really be helpful
put in the right
regards to that.
For a career to
I can
thrive.
But it just sucks here.
Yeah.
You know, it's
a difficult journey.
It just sucks here, bro. It's bad. You know what I'm saying? It's
the climate.
Yeah, because you think it's just gonna be about, because that's how I came in. It's just gonna be about, I'm gonna make the raps, I'm gonna make the music, I'm gonna be the best at it, or at least compete with the best, and that's
what
that.
Would you say is what sucks the most? Is it the politics of the industry, which is taken away from the art, or it's just like the hard work that goes into making sure the art is well packaged?
It's everything, you know. Outside of just making them, literally, what I like the most about being in the music industry is making music. You know, everything else that is necessary to do, I hate. I hate that shit, you know. But you like you're saying, to be packaged and you have to aim for a market and this, that, and the third, and go. Those things suck, and the politics are just fucking crazy because there's no one way to do things that everyone knows. You can do anything you want. So it's like ungoverned and very, so anyone can just throw in a punch and say, I know this, and I know, don't do that, do this. You know, it's just fucking crazy. And it's so now it's become so opinion based and so based on, like, you don't need fucking talent no more to be dope, right?
You just need followers.
You just need a following of sorts, and that's that, you know. And a lot of people go, yeah, but that'll never last, and blah, blah. Hey, man, you know, it can last, or it depends on what you want from it. But I can guarantee you that how the game's built right now, you ain't even got to be dope to do shit. You don't. That's just the truth. You don't have to be dope.
Do you think we're in the generation whereby they no more listen, they listen to judge if they can do better?
Of course. I mean, I think it's like things like social media have sort of leveled the playing field. So, well, not really leveled the playing field, but, you know, if you don't like Kwesta, you can tell him directly. You know, you can go, hey, I don't like you. You know what I'm saying? You can say it to him. You can't just whisper with your friends and whatnot, you know? And so everybody feels like, oh, there's one platform where we can all say shit. So whether I mean it or not, but it's going to hurt him. Oh, it's going to
hurt him. You know, it's crazy. The first time I ever found out about Twitter, I told my friend, I was like, dog, we can tag these rappers and tell them shit. That's the first thing that you ever said about Twitter. I remember, dog. We're taking up with Lil Wayne and them.
Directly go to them. You can go, you know, and that's one of the reasons I don't tweet a lot. It's not because I don't like people, but it's just, it's the banter and the back and forth and all that shit. I don't fuck with that shit. And I mean, I'd rather we do it on record or whatever, on songs. You know what I mean? I'm just not great at it. I'm not great at. I suck at it. So if ever I got into it with anyone, they'd win. You know, so why bother? You know what I mean? When I know that I suck at this shit. But, you know.
Do you think social media and the age that we're in right now has taken away from the actual craft? Because, like you said, you just need to basically, like, you know, have a following, and you don't have to be good at something specifically.
Yeah, if you have a following, it's enough. I don't know if it's taken away. It's just, it's clouded by so much other shit. There's good shit. You know, there's great artists who make great music who are active on Twitter or active on these things, you know, but they're fucking phenomenal guys. They have actual talent. It's not just about the following for them, by like Bantoem, you know. And then there's guys there's just more of the other guys, you know.
The following guys.
Yeah, who really, you know, aren't as dope, but are cooler because they maybe, I don't know the mannerisms or the etiquette. Go Twitter or go TikTok or again.
They know how to troll.
They know how to troll and all those things, you know. And so I don't think it kills the craft. I just think there's so much of the other shit that it's hard to find and see the craft, you know. But I think the craft is something that's always there, you know. It just worries me about now the guy who wants to make music now, you know. If I'm coming up, I'm actually just thinking about it now. If if I'm a young artist who's coming up,
Yeah.
who do I really want to look up to? Do I look up to the guy who killed it with the trolling and blah 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 and boom and went to #1, or do I look up to the guy who just gave me, the whatever, who cared about the product and cared about how it works? Just always going to be now a question. Where do you want to go?
I wonder. I wonder how back then they used to look for talent, like not per se rap or singing. Think about radio or presenting, like A&R for them or scouting. Like now they look at following. They look at
They look at following.
What were they looking at then? Because they made superstars.
Yeah,
it was just like the raw skill.
That's it.
Yeah.
That was the primary requirement. The primary requisite: just be dope, just have a skill, just be good, and what they would do. Shit, my bad. I'm turning this off, man.
No stress.
And what they would do is is help refine that and things or whatever, you know what I mean? But they'd have to find talent. They don't have to look for, who's got a following, who's the popular guy from where, because half the guys
following in other ways. Like, Kwesta. If you go to the hood in KY,
maybe he's dope, he's
Kwesta.
this, he's
That's
this.
technically like following.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Word
true.
of
But
mouth.
also that is also so about Jutan Labobantu, who are following you. They're not just doing it because the friend they've seen you do it and they think it's dope. So that's why there's a buzz in the hood, because it's in real time. They've seen you do it. They didn't look at a trend list and just decide, that's the guy. They've seen it's in real time. Yeah.
I wanted
I think
you
that's the
to
difference.
since you touched on it just a little bit, to just go deeper into being a family man. Most
tough.
guys would love to be a family
Would I be
man.
rude if I answered the
No, it's cool. That's cool.
No.
It's the main.
Yeah. Babe. I don't know, bro. I was actually got to think about that now. I'm not sure.
But we
All right,
never
clean,
vibe
perfect.
into that situation.
Ngishashale interview as la endlini pe. Ngizoyibamba later.
Wherever.
All right, sure.
Yeah, we're just going with the flow.
Sharp.
Going with the flow.
Sorry.
No problem.
I know. You see, those diss tracks, they stop there. You see, they stop there. Just sit by the clouds. Those diss tracks. You're saying?
Yeah, so family man, a lot of guys would love to be, but it's difficult, bro. You have to achieve a certain level of success as a man first before you can, start to look after people around you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're gonna fuck up people's lives. If you're gonna, have a child when and you're not, and it's not good. You're gonna fuck up the child's life. But that's how it happened for me. Also, it wasn't like a plan. Like it wasn't. I don't know. I'd never. I just wanted to rap really, and the thought of settling down and just thinking about, this now has to go somewhere. In terms of I need to see a final destination or whatever, I need to at least set one in my head. Is when I had a child.
Have patience, eh?
Yeah.
Was that? Yeah.
Figure out your life.
Bro, they've got it to the T.
So that's when it's sort of like, oh shit, it's about a lot more now than just being cool. At some point, she's gonna have to get to a comfortable place, So it wasn't like I was always like, I'm gonna be a family man and this, that, and the third. And people glorify it, like, and go, it's so crazy that, you rap and you're a family man and blah, blah. And I'm like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? You know what I mean? It's just because it should be a requirement of everyone with children and a person that they're with and a partner or whatever. I mean, even if you don't want to formally do stuff, you don't have to get married. You don't have to, but, you just have to own up to the shit that you're in. In terms of just life in a partner yako, life, you know what I mean? It's not something that's totally amazing. Oh, he's such a family man. What? You know what I mean? It's like I'm a father. I should be. You know what I mean? It's not a special skill. It's tough to navigate professional or whatever career and family, but I don't think it's especially tough for a rapper than it is for. It's just a tough thing to do, in general, because the problem or what gets in the way is dreams, really, and seeing how far you can risk certain things. And there's certain things that you can't risk anymore because, because your job might get, affected, or things you can't risk because your family might get affected. So you just try and manage risk as much as possible, but it's not as impossible a task as everybody makes it out to be. It's just everyone's just really going out of their way to try and be a lazy father. You know what I mean?
It's so true, bro.
My mind.
People don't even want to try anymore, especially the guys.
Like, I gotta go to studio, come back, and just
be a father. Operate.
Jeez, bro. I mean, I'll tell you, I take my kid to school every day. Yeah. Right. Well, when I'm in.
What?
Yeah, every day when I'm around.
The kid every day.
Every day. Unless I'm not in town, right?
Yeah.
But half the time, midweek, I'm in town. It's the weekends that I go away and blah blah. And I wake up every morning and I take that girl to school. And if I don't have anything later, I pick her up at school too.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with what I do. It's just what I feel like I'm supposed to do. I come back, help her with her homework, boom, boom. True. If I gotta go to work, then I go to work. But it's just something that's in my day. It's not something I'm trying to avoid so I can get that thing done that I want to do. It's just fuck it. Just you had a child. Just be a father, bro. Just be a father. And then I think, however, with relationships, that's really up to the two of you. I hate it when people sit down and try to talk about, yo, this is what you do because you have a wife, and this is what you do because you have a girlfriend, this is what you do because your partner, shut the fuck up. I think that's really between the two personalities and how they get along. It shouldn't be anybody's business anyway.
Yeah. Do you think something changes in a man when he has that type of responsibility? Whether it's a child, whether it's a woman, do you think maybe there's something that switches on?
Yeah, I mean, your sense of responsibility, first of all. It's because, I mean, you know the word and you know what it means. Yeah. We all in theory know what a good father is, right? Or a good husband or a good wife or whatever. But because people are different and situations are different, some things have to be tailor-made for the situation. Mrs. Ham will be a good father, but I'm shaped the rest of my life like this and this, that, and the third. So it's efforts. If it means you sleep a little less to be able to do everything that you need to do, then that's what you do. If you have long night hours, doesn't mean now you must not see your children because you are spanner and blah blah. I mean, that's how our parents grew up. You never really saw le mine, you send mali. We can sleep less and do more. So I think it's just it boils down to choices and what you want to do and where you want to put in most of your efforts, but also in terms of just it changes you because your sense of responsibility is bigger than just yourself and only you wanting to see yourself succeed. You got to think now a little wider than that. You kind of have to have a wider scope of everyone involved in your life, be it your partner, your children, and everyone that you love is affected by everything that you do. Then you have to look at what you do and try and make it something that won't put them in situations that they regret.
And this might be a bit intrusive into your personal life. Obviously, you can always tell me that you can always tell me where not to go. No, but I wanted to talk because I heard the figures of the wedding that you guys have. That it was $1 million wedding. Can you talk on that and just big ceremonies and how?
Yeah, I mean,
that was big, eh?
I don't know the actual cost, but yeah, I think it was about almost $1 million and things.
Mara, didn't you believe in the curse of once you shoot a wedding? Hey.
Well, we did it for a music video, really. Initially, Zaga was supposed to shoot, shout out to K Zaga. He was supposed to just shoot sort of the wedding. It would be just our footage. And we, because that's what people do, you shoot the shit so you remember, And I think he had a conversation on Nota somewhere where
became content.
Also, that's in the back of your head, just think video or something like that. I'm not sure, But all Zaga was there to do really from my conversation with him with regards to, here's your invite, blah, blah, initially, camera, I was inviting him because it's a wedding, and he's no, he hasn't fun shoot and I'm like, okay, sure, man, shoot and suit. And really that's what that was. So it wasn't like a planned thing. So the expensive thing was just being married is an expense, like booking the place and boom, there's 350 people there and blah blah. It's just crazy. And you have 4 weddings, right? And I'm saying that's why maybe it costs that much. I'm not even sure how much.
You had 4 weddings.
Yeah, so in Zulu,
how does it work, bro?
You kind of have to have 4 weddings. So remember, so Mabo is the traditional wedding and the white wedding. It's
so 3 traditional weddings and 1 white wedding.
Yeah, there's you go to
Her house.
You go to her house, they exchange gifts from. They come to your house, they exchange gifts. Then the traditional sort of wedding where you have the ceremony at now her new home, and then you go to the white wedding. And
do you know what my thing is? My thing is just like it's raising the bar so high, dog, that it's just like other women are gonna see that wedding and they're gonna be like,
no,
babe,
but I'm just saying,
can you do this for me? You know what I mean?
That's not even so. It just depends on how extensive you want to go.
Yeah.
So I mean, weddings are generally expensive, but it also depends on the size of wedding that you want. But there's things that are you must do a member, so you must do these things have to happen regardless. Just how big you want them to happen is the difference. But traditionally, you can't bypass those, and I mean, unless obviously it's not in the culture that you're marrying, that you're joining together. If I mean, you don't have to force it, if you guys don't believe in all those things. But half the time, abantu abadala kind of want to insist and think and this is the right way to do things and blah blah. But if you don't come from a family like that, you don't got to
shapa you with a vulam lomo or something else.
That's when you're negotiating lobolas and stuff. But
that's part of the costs though.
Yeah, but that's like an entirely different thing also, because you have to send the uncles to a house. It's not part of the four weddings. Yeah, at all.
Being black is expensive, eh? Being black is expensive.
It definitely is. It's but I'm just being alive.
What do you think of these blogs and everything trying to ruin your marriage, bro? Coming up with rumors and all this stuff.
I mean, I hate the intent, of like I respect a job. I mean, if the job is about umkosi and this, that, and then if we're TMZing it, I mean, fuck it. There's nothing I can do about that, But then I hate it when it's like intentionally just trying to fuck your shit up, and it's not really reporting as like, it's smear, it's like a campaign to smear shit. So as soon as it smells like that, I hate that, But a lot of the time, you take accountability for the shit you've done, so you can't really be mad at people reporting shit. If you know that.
So this first rumor, like it was well handled.
I don't want to talk about that rumor. I'm just saying in general. In general, I hate it when it's a smear campaign. Yeah. But I mean, people gotta report what people gotta report. It's just you just have to accept that it affects people in a real way. It just does. Whether it's reporting or whether you're doing it on purpose. There's really no difference. Sometimes great reporting will affect you terribly, but everything that was said there was fact and was true, and but if it'll affect you regardless. Like how if they talk nice shit about you, album's gonna do well. If they talk trash, it's not. So it affects you in real life. So that's why I hate like the smear, the malicious intent in some of these things. But you gotta applaud good reporting, whether you're on the good side of it or not. It's a job. It's a very respectable job.
Don't you think it's important for the industry to keep the industry, I wouldn't say fed, like, because if you see in America or any other country, there's a lot of platforms are built around industry, whether it's TV, whether it's television, whether it's music, whether it's anything. There's media built around it in order for somebody which is interested in that particular artist or actor to be always informed about them. You get what I mean?
But that's what I'm saying, Wuti. I mean, it's reported. It's if there's people who need to speak, and cover an event or an industry or whatever, then you can't really, try shut them up. You know what I'm saying? But there's then intentionally trying to ruin someone's something. That's why I'm like, everyone needs to write what everyone needs to write. That's why I'm not mad at, I can't go, I'm mad at this account or I'm mad at that account or I'm mad at that person. It's just, I'm mad at this person because he's intentionally fucking up my shit. It's not, even in how they're doing whatever they're doing, it's not telling the story. It's placing me in a certain sort of thing with you thought Ganti, this person, you know what I mean? That's when it's not really about what the story is. It's really about he's this type of person or this, that, and the third. So you guys are busy buying his music, but blah blah blah. You know what I mean?
There you go. It's just turning people against you.
Yeah. That's what I don't like. But I mean, if you're gonna talk about the blah blah blah, just say that and leave it be. That's informing people. Anything else is just spicing and adding some other shit that may not exist, and it doesn't matter anymore because credibility is gone by the time you already attack the character of a person you've never met just because you're trying to change umqondo womunye umuntu ofunda writing. It's already gone.
Let's go back to the music. I wanted to ask you how did you come up with the concept? Okay, I'm the king of African rap. You know what I mean? Talk about the albums that came with you naming yourself that.
I think it was Nota.
Nota came with that.
Yeah, I think we're trying to. I'd done Special Request. We're working on the second album, and I think at this time we're just making songs before we actually kind of made it an album, and we're still at Bada Bing. And he started just saying this shit. Think about this, DaKar. I remember I was with younger. And we're on the balcony. The offices in Melville, they had a balcony and shit, and that's where we'd go to smoke and shit. And then Pagatsia record, And it was just, I don't know, I don't remember exactly, but it just came up, and I was like, bullshit, man, that's fucking crazy. That's so dumb. Fuck that, But the more I thought about it, I'm like, wait, the king of African. Also, it was because I was slightly afraid of the title at the time. I'm like, hey.
Yeah,
the king. You'd also have to come with it.
I mean, pro's alive, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I think the more it then became an attitude, like it started becoming something I believe in. Like of course I'm the king. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, you know what I'm saying? And it started becoming a thing. But I think the acronym and everything that was Nota, because I was also worried about the DaKar rally. I'm like, hey man, you might not even be able to use that. Yeah, but Dakar's a place, bro.
Yeah.
It's a fucking capital city of Senegal.
Yeah, Senegal. Yeah,
and that's how then. But I had to, obviously when you do shit like that, why it was so dope. Like when you DaKar it out, then you have to match up to that, whether lyrically or however. You got to tell us why you're saying you are the king of African rap. What the hell? You got to prove this thing. So. That's then what I had to live up to that thing by constantly going, you gotta be better than that. You writing something, you gotta beat that tomorrow. Right? So, you gotta top that because everyone's looking and waiting for this king. You know what I mean?
Would you say that it was fully manifested in the second album though? That's where you really
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it was already there from the first. We just lacked some things in terms of just push and blah blah blah, and maybe we just didn't have the right type of songs, but we had sort of the right raps, and the songs were dope, but maybe it's not what people wanted to hear at that time, and by the time we're doing the second album, it was the right type of songs and what people wanted to hear at that time. And also, if you went under the music, under your Ngudus and your fellas, I'm a buzzer, I'm gonna get better. You know what I mean? So it was like, yo, he's the king.
This is strictly a fan's opinion. I have to say this: you have a lot of great songs.
Yeah.
But Noma Yini,
bro.
The best song
for real,
that's
bro.
Nuts. It's my favorite to perform.
Really?
Like, yeah. And I remember when I found out that it was big or popular. I found out on stage.
You were surprised at the reception.
Yeah. I mean, I knew it was out there, but it wasn't getting a lot of radio love. It was just a couple tweets here and there, people appreciating it and whatever. But I performed it and then we put it in the set, and it was lukewarm. And then this one show, it shocked us all, right? As soon as it got on, like, hi, Lanas, what are you? Sheesh. This is never leaving the set, because at that time we're trying things around, we're moving, saying, okay, this is going to work, or maybe that, or maybe, and also it was like a slow burn. I remember a lot of people didn't quite
catch on to
it, but I remember DJ Capital, and he told me that, dog, this Noma Yini song is like a stadium song, dog. It's like, hi, Lanas. It's like, I see it like that. And he was playing it in the club. But he was like, but I see more. Every time I played in the club, I'm like, I'm a Nyashot. It needs to be, And with that joint, I mean, so not a lot of people liked it, in terms of even the people I was working with. It was like, it's cool, it's nice.
For me, it was because I knew you could rap, But then when I heard you singing like that, that part of your
Yeah,
voice,
yeah.
I was like, in Zulu, you know what I mean?
Another cover.
I was
Outta
like,
here.
no way.
Outta
This
here.
is too good.
Yeah, no, it's still my favorite to perform. So, shout out, appreciate that.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, when you started calling yourself the king of like Africa in terms of rapping, did you have to actually, fight, have some battles with people?
Yeah, some people thought it was,
Like, who would you say, like,
not
got
really
touched? Touched by the statement? Because,
it's like things you would read. It's like things you would read.
People.
Yeah, more than anyone. So no one's come to me to say, yo, how dare you? But it's like things you'd read, from either articles or, some tweets about how dare you say you're the king. I mean, don't do it, but I sort of expected that because, at some point I'm going to be able to show and prove that, that I'm king, and you will have to concede to that fact, but that obviously would take my effort in terms of pen, in terms of whatever, everything else that is needed for this to actually become a thing. But I mean, yeah, some people are like, that's a little too egotistic. Also, I'm not very out there as like a personality. So it's like shocking. Like, he called himself the king. It's so unlike him.
Like, I've met him
because they want me in that little corner. Yeah,
nigga come with that present.
That nigga ain't like that.
Yeah, it's like, nah, man, he ain't like that. I don't know. He must be high or some shit.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
So there was always that. But like, I mean, like we say, at the end of the day, as long as it's proven and shown that even if it's like for a certain period of time, he was, but there is definitely an undoubted period where,
the king.
You couldn't fuck with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
No, I heard this, right? I have to get this off. I heard this that like you and like your team had the most lucrative run in SA hip hop history. So that run of Ngud, Spirit, them Zonkonko run that you guys had, it was the best run monetary wise.
That's crazy.
Everybody
you could be right. I just don't know.
You're being humble.
No,
right
I'm
now.
not. I'm being honest. I'm not being humble. I don't know even how much other people are making.
Did you
or
see how
much
you
the
guys
music
were living? Did you see how you guys were living?
Yeah, I know that. Like I can see the success of what I'm doing. But I don't know compared to that. So I can't say that's the most lucrative run in hip hop.
Do you know that
because
DaKar
I don't know
2 is
what
the
the other guys
best-selling?
did. Yeah, I've been told that a couple times. And I'm not being humble. I literally have never gone to check that for myself.
I mean, I heard you guys were on stage like right with the gospel artists at most festivals.
Yeah,
and we know that the festival, the gospel guys are the ones that are really making money on the road.
Yeah.
And you guys would get booked with the top gospel guys.
Yeah, I mean, it was so dope that the dimension we were able to take it to was insane because you know, it wasn't always like, I mean, it started off where you're performing in the same places week in, week out, or the same type of places. And then, this album took us to fucking, like you're saying, gospel shows. It like didn't matter. The genre didn't matter, or the fact that I was a hip hop artist didn't matter. It was just the impact of the songs. Where it doesn't matter what the show is, man. Doesn't matter if it's gospel. Doesn't matter. It's just there's enough people there. There's people there. And so fuck with it. You know what I mean? That's all you need. You just need the people.
Like in the song, is it Boom Shakalaka? You said, must name my child Bob because
I'm
raising it.
No lie, you did.
No.
Tell me about that video though. Like they told me that it was like rushed video. You guys just went. Cape Town.
Yeah, it was also, I think it was also 2012, which is around, I don't know if it was right after or right before the Hangover tour. I think it was right before the Hangover tour. I think so. I don't know. My dates are wrong. It's been 15 years. My mind's a little fucked. But yeah, it was also that. Like we went to Cape Town.
Shot it, Younger Chief.
At first, we tried it with Bada Bing, right? Before we left, I think we went to, and in some hotel room. It's also still, it's available on YouTube. There's like a different version of that video where it's just X and myself in a hotel room and we're just rapping the joint. And then I don't think we liked that very much. So we went and did a whole thing where we were still talking to Bada Bing, or we were still working with. I still at Bada, because I mean when it starts, it goes Bada Bing Entertainment. This is the tagline. So we're still fine, but we just decided, fuck it, let's go shoot this shit ourselves, right? in terms of just because otherwise we're gonna drop this video that we really don't like, and that wasn't also, you know, funded or anything. It was guap. Okay, this is how we're gonna book flights. Okay, this is, you know, when we got there. I remember, I mean, Heron is a producer at that side. He's a music producer. He had made my first joint team. Stomp, you know, he was helping us with where to get equipment or stuff like that. You know, he showed us the tunes. He's there in the video also with a Habli there, and everything else was just put together. Oh, there was a party in this house, and we just go there and kind of try and shoot. We went to Eurosuit and hired suits, and we jumped in the pool with them and never brought those suits back because we already fucked them up. You know, but everything does. I'm driving like a Cobra there. And that guy, I think they wanted 20,000 and this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
And we just juiced at the guy. I think we gave him 2,000 or whatever. He wasn't even supposed. He wasn't even. I'm not sure about the figures exactly, but we didn't pay what was needed. I wasn't even supposed to drive that whip, you know. But I was like, because he's supposed to drive wherever we're going because you hired the whip. But I'm like, we're trying to shoot a driving scene. You know what I mean? So you kind of have to put me in there and we just hope you don't get in shit in the job when your boss sees the video. But you know, that's what. So everything was also very guerrilla. It was done very guerrilla style. It wasn't planned. There was some people got mad in Cape Town because some of the video because we bought liquor that Icodins and that became a thing because I think some guys didn't want us in the city or didn't want us to have the girls that we were using in the video with us. So and Twitter was a thing. They started talking shit on Twitter and they threw a party and we went to that party and we started kissing their girls and it was just a fucking mess, bro. You know, it was. But I mean, it was again just that hunger and that thing. It was really just. If not, why not? And who will if we don't, you know? And so we didn't have a budget. We didn't have money. We had worked out how much it's going to cost. I don't think we ever had that money at all. We just, you know, as we were going, we kind of tweaked everything as we went. You know?
I heard that you guys were looking to get AKA on the music video you're doing. And not AKA, Benny McCarthy on the music video you're doing. You're planning it. And then I think Nota actually spoke to AKA about it, and then AKA is on.
Benny McCarthy is on.
Benny McCarthy's on AKA's music video. Like you,
I don't remember.
Jealousy.
Yeah, I think it was jealousy because they were looking.
But you were
looking to get him beforehand.
Maybe I think there was something. I remember a little bit of that. I'd never had the conversation with AKA.
You're not managing those things.
No, not at all. I never had the conversation at all with anyone. But I do remember us discussing something. I just forgot what the video was. I think it could be Boom Shakalaka.
It was Boom Shakalaka.
Yeah, I think it could be Boom Shakalaka actually. But I remember us sort of, was it tied to a line? Probably. I don't know. But yeah.
Boom Shakalaka. Because even there's so much stories about Boom Shakalaka because Nota keeps on claiming that that's the song that brought trap to Africa in a way. In terms of the sound, you know, and sonically and bringing those kind of things and wrapping it in essay and make it popular, you know, that type of thing.
I don't know. I mean, you know, to me, I've never looked at it like, yo, it's a trap beat. I can't even tell, even now, you know, whether it's a trap beat or not or whatever. I just know that it's something that a lot of people then started doing, you know, but I don't know if that's the birth of trap or anything like that. I mean, even at that time, I wasn't focused on what's happening or I don't know the history of trap music in South Africa or America. So I'm not in touch with that, so I wouldn't know.
Speaking of sound, we have to talk about this because obviously there was a lot of disputes between Makwa and DJ Maphorisa.
Yeah.
I think it was last year or something. Who would you say that is the one that came up with the idea for Mzonkonko? Obviously, they said that Maphorisa made the beat for what's the one with Ngud, right?
Yeah.
But then Makwa said he's the one that actually made the beat. Maphorisa just sort of gave him the idea or something. I can't understand the full story. No, I think then
he's talking about
Maibabo. And also Ngud. He says one of, I think Ngud, he came downstairs. He was sleeping and then Maphorisa had the beat and he came downstairs and put his name on it and then he went back to sleep. He went back to sleep.
I don't know, bro. I don't, that's not how I remember it, to tell you the truth. I mean, I know I was sleeping, so maybe some of the things that happened while I was asleep, but when I woke up, you know, I don't know if maybe it was something that was playing from another day or before. I remember being Nutsakan. I'm not even sure who else was there. There's some brother of mine, Nutsakane, was there. and Pori kept playing this beat. But because in my head, with regards to who pressed what, I don't know, but I know that Pori produced the joint.
But which producer would you give the most credit to the sound that you guys had? Because let's be honest, that sound was everything, dog.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I think that thing was birthed on Ngud, and the thing is that, it was something that I've been chasing for a bit, I've been doing these things. Like the intro to Special Request is very very also kind of that Kwaito-ish almost kind of thing that I was going for, and I have a joint on the first DaKar, Tulu Chive with Zago and Kid X, I was still trying to find that thing, and I think once we got in studio with Pori, that's when we found Ngud. But it was always kind of going there. It was something I was trying to perfect to get right, and I think the music came together with the Ngud, and then from that, Makwa was always like making like kind of Kwaito-ish feel type things with TLT, La Pecas, and it was always like sound was, so the fusion of those two things when we had found Ngud and also what Makwa was doing, putting that together then was like, the beginning of Mzonkonko, I think, just the combination of those two
things. Who came up with that name, Mzonkonko?
Makwa.
Oh, it's him.
Makwa speaks like this. So he came up with that. The festival. Yeah, he came up with that name also. It's just, Makwa has so many weird things that he says that only he says. Like whenever vocabulary. Yeah, and sometimes it's so cool. And it's like, I know. So we are zonkosa. We ever talk to. It's really not even a name he thought up. It's just zonkosa. Like I'm a synthesizer. Like he calls them in Zwang. No fucking Zwang. You know what I mean? And the beat doesn't have that bass in him. Like, hey, fucking Zwang, short in Zwang. He speaks like that, however. So he came up with them zonko. Yeah.
Another monumental thing that you guys did was obviously bring the US guys over here. Rick Ross at your grandma's crib.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, legendary.
That's insane, right? That's insane. Shout out to Lou Africa. This guy called Lou. I don't know if you guys know him.
I've heard of him.
He was a connect between the artist and us, because obviously akusabangan bethu asikhulanga nabo, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, and I mean, like with that whole thing, I mean, it would have been probably expected. You got to do a joint, you're probably going to shoot it in America, right? Like, how do you
such a mindfuck.
Yeah, how do you flip this shit and bring it? But you also have to tie it in with something else. So there was always events involved, so that there's performances and things. So it's not like I came in for a video and shot. Everyone needs to get like the fact
even
that
with Wale, there was the Heineken's.
The same with Ross also was shout out to Heineken for that. It was that?
Mikwan also.
Yeah, Rich Homie. We literally did it like that, and with everyone, because it kind of tied into sharing this experience with the whole, with the whole country outside of just ngifigile ngashuta kabo Kwesta bese ngavaya. You didn't get to see or be seen by anyone else. So to extend that experience and to also kind of make it a little cheaper to do. You get people, you're throwing this event, you're going to pay them this, Obviously, I don't know that back end in that conversation, but I mean, the whole point was to get them here. That's it.
I know.
You
could see the
want
cross.
Them here.
He was patient with your grandmother. You paid him too much. I was like, I'm sure you're speaking Zulu. I'm seeing him there.
Nah,
that picture is iconic. Even them when they just talking to each other that side, bro.
But you can see
we've never seen anything like this.
But you can see the Americans, they were loving it. Because
I'm sure he's used to Sentin.
Yeah, no, but he's also used to a hood.
Yeah, he wasn't. What the fuck is this? It was very okay. Shit. Oh, this out of the hood. It was all right. And I think it'd been to other countries also, like like how there's slums in Nigeria and things like that, and plum plum. So it wasn't the first time him seeing Ilogishi to that extent. So it wasn't too much of a shock value to him. He was just probably shocked. Oh, you really shooting it here? But it wasn't like, where the fuck did you take me? It was comfortable as shit.
We've been waiting for the Tory Lane song though. Like, what happened to that, bro?
No, dog, it's recorded, it's in there, but because there's always these backhanded issues in the back of the things, I just and my approach to all these things is energies and things. So I don't want to fight for it, or I don't want to talk. I mean, if I was Zwani about something, then I say yeah. You know what I'm saying?
So that's from Tory's team that we're kind of blocking.
No, I think it's just us here.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's
Can you
us
believe
here.
it?
Yeah, it's not even him.
That's
I don't think. I don't know. If it is, then I don't know about that.
Will that track ever see the light of day, or you guys are past that?
We'd have to get along first.
With who specifically?
With everyone. I mean, it's something that we did while we were together. So I also feel like if I was to kind of push the agenda of, because I have the files, right? Like I'm sure I'm not the only one, but if I was to push the agenda of keep and everyone involved would have to be there because it costs money to pay Tory. You know what I'm saying? So it's not something that I can pull on my side and just go, and I don't think anybody else wants to do that. So it's just one of those things. I don't even actually know the core reason of everything, but it's just because we haven't gotten a chance to sit down and really, address things or fix things or try or at least say, okay, just for this song, let's come together and then go apart again. And there's no avenues for those conversations. I mean, every avenue is blocked and it makes it difficult.
Yeah, guys, you guys had a national fallout. Eh? Everyone was seeing it like live in our faces. So
what actually happened, bro?
Bro, that was like too far from the artists. I want to talk about your interactions with them, like from Wale and all that, before we go into the split of.
Like, no, they were cool. Like I won't lie to you. If I had to choose the coolest, it was. I mean, I didn't get a lot of time with Ross. I won't lie. I mean, there was some time in the hood and this, that, and the third, and at the party, and but it wasn't a lot because I think I also just kind of went. It's Ross. I don't know. Maybe that's what happened. Because he wasn't a dick or anything like that. It wasn't. Sure. It was cool, bro.
Did you shy it once at least?
Just
once, because your voice is deep already. Yeah.
Nah, we didn't do that. But I'll tell you, Wale and Rich Homie Kwan, I got a lot of time with those dudes, and class acts. I mean, incredible. Wale is. Like, no, if we can try shoot it like this, okay, let's move that. And then like he's involved, he's in there, he loves it, he's in the hood, he's taking pictures, he's dancing, you know what I'm saying? It was like, it didn't feel like, I split in fast, I tired. You know what I mean? It was like, he was there, he was in the moment, which is incredible. Same as Rich Homie Kwan.
You guys were at the Leonardo or something, right? The hotel?
Yeah. That's where we did a lot of recording there. That's where he was based, but I'm just to go shoot in the hood and shit, and I actually don't know if it's still in or what. It's just some hotel in Center. But it was cool, and in the hood was shypy, like.
And also Rich Homie Kwan looks like he could be No, he could be like a Jabu or
it does give you a Jabu vibe.
Yeah, it just gives me like.
And them Shail and because I'm a chance, I was spinning transit. I was like, hey, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? What the fuck are y'all doing? Right here in the streets, nigga?
It's not used to the Gusha
that's the only thing that caught him by surprise a little bit. I mean, I think it's seen it before, just didn't expect it to happen right then and there.
Sure.
So, yeah. But generally, awesome bros.
Because I wanted to talk about the significance of the music video of Spirit. Like it just did.
Changed the game.
Changed everything. Like
it still hasn't been outdone even today.
Bruh.
Yeah.
It's like the quality,
that's crazy.
International quality, but documenting ordinary South African life.
Yeah, it's crazy that I never won a music award, but I did win a marketing award, I think won a couple Laurie awards or something, which is advertising awards. And
like agency
that.
And stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, shit, man, I think outside of anything, it just had to be as impactful as a song, if not more. So then that's why the whole big, crazy, nonsensical investment of that much money in a music video, because it's gonna outlive us. It's gonna be there forever, and it was just the perfect thing to do. I was just so with how we work, wasn't like, you have to approve budget, you have to this, you have to. I'm always like, whatever is necessary, let's try to do it. If we can't, let's strategically ask for help, or throw up this page maybe and talk to those guys. You know what I'm saying? But it was just something we were gonna see through, regardless of how. Like I said, we come from that sort of school of just, if not, why not? So let's fucking do it. Hangover to Boom Shakalaka video. Those things just fucking happen because of just persistence. So now if you add that with a little bit of budget, then you get shit like Spirit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I remember there used to be a running joke that used to be like, Kwesta raps like his voice is about to break or
Yeah, but
something.
manga try strip sell get
Yeah,
No, I found them
Your
funny.
career is done.
Like that's
If
your
you take
own
strips
unique
off-
thing, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
I wanted
Yeah.
to ask about that. Uguti, when did that happen? When you guys saw Uguti guys, have you heard this guy's voice? You know what I'm saying? Because at a point, it's like you just were just
Yeah, no, drink water.
you know
bro.
what I'm saying?
Like that's all I thought when I hear your voice. I'm
And
like,
it was
this guy
so
needs to
fucking
drink.
cool.
Yeah, it just always felt like something's wrong. He's probably gonna drink water and then
Yeah.
it's gonna click right. But my shit just got fucked. It's just I probably smoked too much. And it's just fucking
How
there.
many cigarettes?
But no lie.
How many cigarettes? I'm already counting, so
No,
I can get that voice.
I won't lie to you. It depends on sort of on a fun night. I smoke a shitload, and then you should hear my shit in the morning after a night like that. It's fucking
That's when you
scares
say,
me.
I sound like you now when I wake up.
You sound like this.
Yeah.
Oh, you should hear my shit, bro. You're gonna jump out. You're gonna think someone's yes.
Horror movie.
It feels like the whole room shaking.
But isn't that when you record?
Just weird? Yeah, I kind of have to make it dirty. Like so, you try not to drink water.
Yeah.
You just don't
Because it
drink
gives
water.
it an artistic sense.
Yeah,
to
it's
it,
like, and then it eventually
like
you find the
distortion in
pocket
a
for
way.
it. Yeah, it's almost like a distortion where a lot of people have always said, yo, it's an effect of so. It's no fucking effect. I mean, there's effects of just mixing, blah, 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 like how
Yeah,
everyone
sure.
gets, but there's no effect to kind of make the voice
deeper,
any deeper.
like
It's
pitching
just-
it down. or
No,
anything.
none of that shit. No.
You spoke about like DaKar 1 a little bit, but I really want to get into DaKar 2, like the process of making it, because we all know that one is literally
the one.
monumental in South African music.
It was a hard album to make. It was tough, but it was cool. It was done in so many places. Like a lot of it was done in Sony. Some of it was done in the studio of the producer. Like I know Ganja Beats. I recorded a lot of joints there. So it was like just almost everywhere. But the bass was like at Sony, and my Benklalentlin. I was still in Katlehong when we were making that album. So the traveling, right? It was expensive to do that, and we'd all have to go because there's things I insist on doing. It's like, Makwa, obviously, TLT every now and then, but I'd always go with like two of my guys, Mkolo, not Donna, who are the guys I was rapping with when I was doing. Well, they don't rap, but they're just there, for the shit and help me rap that shit. So they'd be in studio, so it'd be expensive food-wise. It was just expensive, and it made you say, and sometimes you get into arguments because you're not together, and it was a big task to take that shit on, But I think all the things that were happening, the disorganization of shit. I mean, we're finally a little bit organized in terms of, I'm a booking again, this, and third, but so to be able to do some of these things. But it was still shaky, it was still, again, us taking on more than we probably should, and yeah, but I just think my head was just in the best place it's ever been in terms of creatively, at least, I think the shit I was saying there was pretty insane, It was like, and also Pori's studio, so we'd navigate around all these things. Like, Pori literally just opened the door once and
But
he
how
never
does
closed
Pori
it again.
meet with you? Like, where do you guys meet?
I mean, we had met before many times, just bumping into each other and shit, and always just saying, yo, it's on to the spot, and never really doing it, And then eventually you just, fucking, let's go, I think he had spoken to, I'm not sure, because I don't think we're on the phone, so I think he had spoken to Nota or something, and it was really probably just supposed to be a session, and then, I never left Pori's when I went there. I think the only time I left, we were done with the album. I just kept on coming, and it was like just an energy about it that was nuts, because it wasn't really about DaKar 2. It was just about guys making music. So there was everyone there from Upax, like everyone that Pori was working with at the time would come in and they'd do a joint, and I'd drop a verse on that joint, and we go to another studio 2 houses away. Guy got DJ Clap, he's playing some other shit. I'd just drop a verse there, and then boom, oh yeah, no, I like that beat for DaKar 2. Let's work on that. You know what I mean? It was really just, the space was pretty incredible. That's why it was hard to leave. That's why you do Zanga pinda uvale.
Is he that
policy though?
Zanga
Like,
zaphuma.
if you come in, you can come in anytime and drop anything.
Yeah, is he that accommodating? Because
Yeah, I think it's cool, especially if he fucks with your shit, you know, and you're cool people. You know, I mean, I'm sure he has a criteria of sorts.
Talent. It's
You
only
know?
talent.
Yeah, it's probably only talent,
Yeah.
you know, but Anyazi personally. But you know, there's no formula. It's like if you got a good idea, he's not gonna no, don't do that. You know, just jump on. It's almost like everyone that's there is there for the creation
It's
of
like a
whatever is
creative
being
hub.
created. Yeah, you know, it's whether it's a song, whether it's this, it's just everyone's there to add value and to, you know, contribute.
For me, I wonder because it's like, okay, let's not get it twisted. He's a genius. He's a creative mind. He's
Fucked up.
but it takes more than that to get every creative, which is making shaking in South Africa in one room, in one house.
Yeah, that's a talent on its own.
Yeah, like
That entire thing. Not everyone can get everyone wanting to come to that space. You know, there's that's an energy conversation also. It's like it's to harness that type of energy that attracts everyone who's dope to your spot is not even something you can work on. It's just some shit you're born
natural.
with. Yeah, that's just some shit you're born with. You can't practice that because you can't make me come. No matter how you pause, but you know, but you know, you can't make me go there. You know what I mean? If I don't want, but if you have. If your energy makes me, you know, want to shy around, do you know? Pause again. But you know,
no. Now he's dropping the pass. This is you see,
it's a mistake, dog.
Nah, this is your double entendre thing going on.
You know, but yeah, I think that thing is a thing that he naturally has.
So when you're working on DaKar 2, like when it dropped, was there a thing like you knew that this one is gonna change my life for the good?
You knew it, ne?
I knew. The exact moment I knew was Ngud.
Ne?
Yeah.
Yo.
I knew.
But it changed everything.
Yeah, I knew it.
You there with your Makwa arms, just Did you get a sponsor?
Nah, not even. I don't even remember what cheap ass roll on I was using.
But you from the start of the video, it was iconic. We couldn't forget it. Like,
No,
this guy.
I tell you, it's. But I knew as soon as I knew. I was like, okay, found it. You know,
I have to ask you about this guy, right?
Kwesta.
Nah, Nota.
Okay.
Like, what's your take on his, you know, madman run? What was he always like this, or like, what do you think about him coming out to the public and now acting the way he does? Probably was like that behind the scenes, you know what I mean, where people didn't actually know.
No.
And what's your take now on him seeing everything that he's doing now, and how has that behavior affected you guys' relationship?
Well, it killed that, you know, the relationship. I don't know.
So it's dead.
We haven't had a conversation in so long. I think two years. Our last conversation was in 2020. Yeah, I think so. I could be wrong, but I think it's about 2 years now. You know, but I mean, I don't know, man. It's work and it works, and it's you see, my standpoint on things is like what I was saying about
intention.
Intention. When I was talking about reporters earlier on Twitter, you know, it's just if it's malicious shit being done to smear, I hate it. But if it's shit that spreads information and works and also feeds you, and that's, you know, can't knock the hustle. That's code where I'm from. You know, you don't do that. You know what I'm saying? So
what is it that he did specifically that made you think, okay, now he's affecting my brain now?
No, it was family. Not
it
really.
was family.
Yeah. It's never been about, I think he's affecting my bread or whatever. It's just a mention of family and things. I don't appreciate that. But I mean, like I'm saying to you, that it's not something that was concealed when we were working. But I mean, he's always been like a very independent sort of thinking person. From whether you're in the bus or in the room, he's always gonna have an independent thing that no one in the room kind of either thought about or cares to think about or is given enough time to think about. You know, so he always had that. So. Which was the genius about him. It was a dope thing. That's why everything that has happened in general and what we were able to do was able to happen, because some of the things he'd think of was like, oh shit. Really? It's like off the wall shit. But it's like, imagine if it worked. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And there was that. But I mean, I don't I don't know what to say about it now.
Would you say he's different from the guy you knew?
Yeah, but I think I am too.
Mm.
I think we just grew. And I think that comes with the sort of things. It's just about how one chooses to maybe exercise or show growth or whatever the situation. But to sit and judge and just be, hey, it's neither here nor there. That's why when the last time I did one of these things, I was like, yeah, I pray for the day that we all in one room and we kind of, talk and, eventually be okay if God allows.
So you do see that relationship?
I don't see it, but we'd have to work at it for it to happen. You know what I mean? We'd have to actively do it. I don't see it happening by chance. I see it happening by, intentionally.
I've heard him say stuff
if we're intentional about it.
I've heard him say stuff like, you guys only had a working relationship. You guys weren't really friends. You met at Bada Bing.
Hey, they said he says Leroy slapped him in front of you and you didn't do nothing. You just like, oh, okay.
Leroy slapped him?
Yeah.
Yeah, they planned the fight. Said, the airport.
I can imagine the crazy shit that was happening.
Bro,
just like
also they were living together at the time, so I don't even know what brewed it. I think it was because it couldn't have been what it was. It was about a radio and someone wanting to listen to something.
Everyone wanted to be close to you because you are the guy which, not the final say, but you are the guy that had an important say in everything you guys were doing.
No, but everyone else was contributing, so as much as maybe it's easier if I let him know, if I let Senzo know about what I want to do, then that convince me to get it done. Maybe if you put it like that, but I don't think everyone was just there to get close to me. The contributions are fucking monumental. Every pillar it's just I'm Kwesta, right? But DaKar too is something we put together. Together.
Yeah,
DaKar is something we put together. You know what I mean? So the contributions were fucking insane. It's just, it wasn't about just getting close to me. It was also about contributing to a point that it gets to where it gotten. And so I don't fully agree with that. But yeah, I mean, at the time when they were fighting, they were living together and we're all in Katlehong, and it was obviously down the road, but every now and then and this, that, like, and this was at Leroy's house, so I'm not sure if they had woken up Baklabene or whatever, because I think what tipped it over was the radio. It was like, I want to play this. I think it was listening to a mix, if I remember correctly, of one of the songs we had done. And I think Leroy wanted to listen to something else. And
when you guys started making money, did you sort of see the ego starting to inflate right in front of you with the guys that you were working with? Like, did the money actually change some of the teammates?
Yeah.
It did, no?
Yeah. It did. Made them a bit
too comfortable,
more brash than they normally would be, or more, and maybe myself too. I mean, fuck, it's money.
Yeah, plus you guys,
if you can do things that you weren't able to do before, you can't really know how they're gonna make you feel until you're going through it. So, we're able to buy things that we couldn't afford before, and maybe that kind of twisted things in what we thought. I don't know, but I don't think. I mean, yes, it did change people, bro. But I don't think I'm exempt to that. I don't think I'm out of that equation. You know what I mean? And some may have changed for the better. And some may have needed to change that way. But it's almost like, how I feel about it. I feel like I should have known it was gonna happen.
You should have seen it coming.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's the worst thing about it, because what's happening now around, I'm like, but shit, man, I should have known, or I'm sure even the gents are like, shit, I should have known. And some gents will probably go, oh, I knew. You know what I mean? It's just that you kind of have now.
Let's talk about like the rise of RapLyf. Like, what inspired the idea? Who was there at the beginning? And what were you trying to build through that? What was the vision behind it?
It was for everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And myself, right? It was to house the talent. This is why initially, so Span and the TLT, I loved them niggas, I loved what they did, and in Span and Nota, he's great, and Span and Leroy, who has this corporate background, he's very organized, he can, do things. He can do the events. He can put up the proposals. Fuck, it's brilliant. Maybe let's start working with artists. And yeah, the whole thing was to make it a platform that births other and better Kwestas, and I never saw it as a business that changed into other things, which is what then, when you start the conversations, I'm like, yo, diversifying portfolio, or this, that, and the third, and so maybe let's dabble into that, yeah, but I
you just wanted to do the music.
Yeah, and help people do the music. But what was necessary also, and if it was deemed necessary, so it's like, okay, let's try it. But I'm not saying that it was steered the wrong way. I'm just saying that, I wanted it to be a record label, but it could have been so much more, which is how everybody saw it, and they were so right, but my whole thing was for it to be, I hope I don't get in shit for saying this, but with the same intent, but for it to be a better Bada Bing, a better other label that's given a better platform. It's like now you need, if you're gonna start a company or whatever, you can. I wouldn't be mad if you said I want this to be a better RapLyf. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. But the whole thing was for it to be a platform that, young artists could come up. In my head, okay, and then eventually, we'll move up and blah, 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 But
you guys had that Mzongonka sound. Like, you guys you're sonically, you aligned with each other. Everyone there.
Yeah.
Like
it was
TLT,
incredible.
Kid X,
that's why I was saying when we were talking about Mzongonka, I'm like, TLT were making Vele, because Makwa was Vele the co-producer, so it was always like quite always she nyana with the phone, and then when we finally got it to, we knew that nobody had it, and you'd have to come here to kind of get a bit of it, you know what I'm saying, and that's such a big thing to let go of. It's fucking crazy, but we had a thing,
And then there was the who were the, I'll say, initial partners. Like, I know Kid X said at the start it was kind of proposed to him that he would be in that kind of bracket of partners.
Yeah.
Then there was Nota, then there was Leroy, then it's you. Is that the people which were initially?
Initially, before X was a little bit later, after we'd had after we've had conversations with Leroy and Nota, and then I said no. Let's land in X, and this, that, and the third, because I think it was at the beginning of cash time. Don't, and I think maybe Leroy was probably saying assign X. No, let's land X and land a partner. You know what I mean? If we can do that, that'd be dope. I just don't know how you'd structure it or whatever, but it'd be dope if it was a partner. And really that's what that was, and it was just so we again move forward because and at this time I was ring Sanga cool no smash. I'm no way, but it would have been so much greater if not because it was the same exactly. This is what was in my head, right? But it's in my head, and I'm like, okay, shit, Maskalando X ganja now, because it really didn't matter if I knew that he could run a company or not. Like, hey, dog, or it was never, yo, let's
sign.
Which was probably the mistake. With a lot of the conversations, I don't think we've all ever signed one paper that has everyone's signatures on it.
So
that's crazy.
So now that you have them, then ultimately you have now adding to that, you have Makwa, you have Tabsi.
Sabchi was never RapLyf.
Yo, well, she was rapping RapLyf like, yo.
Yeah, I mean, she was on Inya's Fela, so when we were pushing that song really hard, we literally were going to the shows with her, like Yonkindao and boom, boom, boom. And she also was working, Saifo, right, who was also shit, and I forgot him, Mangbala Inda Senze DaKar Tugu, Saifo's studio was also, that's where Inya's Fela was made, you know what I mean? Well, the second part of it when we're changing it into what it is now, and yeah, but she was never an artist by affiliation and by association. She always held us down, but she was never signed to Or I mean, no one was signed, but it was never like that.
Yeah, and then obviously, I want to know like your live reaction, right? You probably
I gotta do this, gents.
I know, yeah.
It's like the
no
10th
stress,
time
no
she
stress,
does
no
this.
stress.
Babe.
Yeah.
No stress.
So I wanted to know, like, when it comes to like just the end of it, like the era of RapLyf, like what transpired, what would you say was the final straw that broke the bridge, and how did you guys all receive it, and who was the first to say they're out, and how did everything go?
Shit, man. I actually don't. I think Nota was probably the first. I think he went to work at the Orchard, but we're still, he was still DJing. In fact, I just thought that
Nota?
there was, yeah.
He was DJing for you?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, bro. Nota was with me at the shows. He was DJing. He was.
Hey, man. Do you know that Nota
knows
DJ?
dates,
From the
though.
beginning. Yeah, bro. Like, everywhere.
Crazy.
Like, not even like at a certain period of, like, since.
Oh.
Yeah, since.
Damn.
I don't know. In the beginning, I tried DJ names because he was the DJ with Slikour and them. Boom, boom. But it's soon. Yeah, since, dog. Since. And even when we were on the Hangover tour, I mean, Cash was more the Cash time stuff, and then Nota would jump on my joints. So since. I don't know how you don't know this. It's crazy.
I mean, like, he doesn't like talk about it every time, even though he talks a lot. So
yeah. So I think he was the first when he went to the Orchard, and everything else just fizzled out. I don't think anyone actually actively. Well, I didn't. I also just stopped going to the house and the studio, and just we all knew and we kind of spoke about it. And as soon as lawyers started getting involved, that's when shit got really weird. Yeah. And that's
lawyers from whose side?
Well, from everyone's side, because everyone's trying to, you can't just there's things, you can't just say, yo, it's gone. There's boom. So when that conversation started,
company, like how many people's catalogs were there?
I just know that mine.
Yours.
It was mainly about the assets
nobody
that the
else
company
was
had,
like,
no?
yeah. I've never wanted to own anybody's music, or had the intention to do that. So I've never shown interest in yo, let's split that because
split sheets and stuff like that.
Well, with other people's songs. I mean, you'd write. You'd write on a split sheet.
The ball.
Yeah, he did.
But I know, like, this proves a menace.
Yeah, he's a menace to society.
Yeah, it's a problem. This one is a problem, and she's so mad. Take her inside, Kai. Give her the smaller one, so she or hide it so she doesn't see it.
She's disappointed. Yo,
just like that.
You need to get a ball tomorrow.
Yeah, no chance.
Yeah, that one keeps on showing her on her face.
The smaller one is making it worse because, like, I had a big one, guys.
Look at him. He's not done, eh?
Nah.
But she's entertained now.
Yeah, but now also she wants to play, what they say, one man's trash is another man's treasure.
Yeah.
Let me go sort that out, bro.
Oh yeah, no stress.
Complete menace.
Dog, this guy is a menace. Did you see I moved the Chinese guy? This guy was moving the camera. Really? Yeah, I need to busy driving doing stretches here. It's basically saying he's a menace. But no lie, Steph. Hey, Steph. No lie. Yeah. Don't you think that the what you call it? Steph, don't you think that you want to have a dog? Yeah, I would want to have a dog like this. I would wake up every day curious what else is he gonna do. Yeah.
I don't even know dogs that much, but I can see that this one is dope.
Yeah, he definitely has a personality.
Personality is shit. He's got character.
Yeah. So you're talking about just lawyers involved. Everyone.
Oh yeah.
Weird.
So yeah, and as soon as that started happening, it's like it's almost like, when letters are being sent, oh, you're suing me, oh, you're doing this, or and then that whole conversation. So I even ended up just going, hey man, even the lawyers, I'm like, stop, just let it go. It's like what I said in the beginning. If it's not going to be a thing of us zami would take back rent, then fuck it. That energy is not really my shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's why I stopped going to the house. I just stopped everything. I was like, okay,
So
shit.
this house that you're talking about, this is the RapLyf house, which is now making, headlines and creating conversation.
Yeah.
I want to know if initially, right, you hear that Big Zulu, obviously you saw it someone's socials or someone called you or something, right? Big Zulu's just saying everybody.
No.
Someone tells you. How does it go?
No, Zulu told me he was going to do something like that.
Oh, he warned you.
This is a soft diss, eh?
No, he said he was going to do like 100 bars of, and this was like, so I'm in my head, I'm just thinking, it's just going to be, I don't think names will be mentioned. I just think he'll
like
allude to a certain person and kind of people go, are you talking about, I didn't think it was going to be that.
Direct.
And yeah, so when I finally listened, I'm like, geez, and you told me, and Namu Young Fag, which was not really the most disappointing thing. It was then the push after that. I was like, hey, son, and yo, we're going in, we're just pushing, yo, And
so when you heard it initially, what was your reaction? Like when you listened to it officially?
Initially, to tell you the truth, I was like, okay.
It wasn't bad.
Or what I think of the whole song, or what I think of how I was touched?
Because like out of everyone, I feel like MT's was the most personal one. Like the strikes towards him. Yours and KO's.
Oh, that's what you're saying. Oh, yeah. I mean, the problem is that it's like everything. It affects people in real life, regardless of if you're a fan of Kwesta, and it's like doing this to a person. that's you know what I'm saying?
When last did I see that, dog? I think the last time I saw someone doing that was in school, like primary school. Like,
and you know what it's like? That
it's so disrespectful, bro.
Yeah, it started feeling like that because also now the fans, people who might fuck with my shit are starting to go, hey, dog.
Yeah.
So
I thought you're the rap king.
But we are you know what I'm saying? And really that's then what prompted it wasn't really an immediate feeling after hearing the joint. It was like everything else that was built up around it, and also how it was being pushed. It's like, And now the guys are saying, yeah. But I mean, I told Zulu that. I spoke to him. I said, what made me do it had nothing to do with his intention of why he did it. It was the effects in real time that were from that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So when you're saying your leftovers changed his life, you're talking about the crib.
Not really. I was really talking about, because in the beginning they were using the studio. I don't know if they still are. I was really talking about the resources, the studio shit, and and before they let go of the bus also. I mean, I know they're taking over the installment, So I meant those things. Some people thought I meant people.
Yeah.
Which would have been a weak bar. I mean, it's like,
no, the resources of the studio slapped, because everyone was talking about it in the comment section. Yo, my leftovers changed your life, damn, bro.
So you're making it clear right now that RapLyf doesn't own that house anymore.
Yeah,
it's now Big Zulu's crib.
Yeah, the lawyers came. They were here at the house. That's why I signed it here. Mrs. Blomel and the lawyers came and we signed that shit over. And also, I mean, hearing that I'm part of DJ's production. I'm not in any way a director in DJ's production. I never have been.
Yeah.
I want to know with like this song, right? Where do you draw the line? Because I feel
he comes from rap battle.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like he's a perfect.
Oh, it's just it's family, bro. You know. I don't know. Well, I've always felt like there's a difference between a beef and a battle, right? If we have beef, that's one.
Yeah.
I don't. My that's beef.
Yeah.
Right? And I think a battle is just a disrespecting of each other's hustles and this, that, and just testing, like sparring, really. Or even a boxing match for real. And then you hug it out at the end. Go, nice fight. Young Bambi, left. You know what I mean? And that's been the difference. So if you're gonna do that, then you hit each other. You don't step out the ring and start slapping the bro's mom or the bro's wife or the whatever. You know what I mean? It's still directed to the person, and you're disrespecting their hustle or how better than them you are. As soon as it affects everybody else, then that's closer to the beef shit than it is to battling. You know what I mean? And at least in my sense. And if you're gonna, if Nyazwana, I don't want to disrespect anyone you love.
Yeah.
Because Nyazwana now, you know, you're my
The
bro.
thing is between me and you.
Yeah,
Everyone
yeah.
else.
And if we're playing, Pella, we need to also be aware that how we play will affect everybody else one way or another. You know,
Yeah.
they'll know about it. Is what I'm saying. So if we play rough with them, then that's who the target becomes in round 2 maybe, or in whatever. You know, then you start aiming at people that are just chilling at the crib. You know, and that the person loves, you know, it then becomes a little bit unhealthy.
It's like shooting up the house now.
So
now you come in, you spraying the whole crib, you know, and the lapo sinyathele two le love skhona.
Yeah.
So,
Or siyadlala nje, you know, and from ukudlala you know, indlu sigcwele idumbu.
So what do you think as far as the state of SA hip hop, and then the beefs are coming into play, and people calling that okay, this is the rise of SA hip hop again? What do you think? Is it going to take us to beef to respond as you did? Or do you think more people should be proactive in their own careers, you know?
Man, I just think the only way to bring, if there's a need to bring hip hop, that's the quality of the stuff and the amount of work put behind it. We don't have to not get along. That's like being caged and being watched like animals to just fight. You know what I mean? It's stupid because it gets the conversation going for 2 weeks. I mean, we're not going to watch each other fight the whole year.
Everyone's dropping right after this.
Yeah, but I think anyone had planned to drop Valley. These albums didn't happen right after the diss joint.
Kwesta.
I don't think anyone.
Somebody's too quick.
No, let's be honest though. Like a lot of SA hip hop artists were waiting for conversations to happen around SA hip hop as a genre, and to see who has a project.
Okay, he had a 2-month pre-order thing. He finished that album a long time ago, way before this thing. You know what I mean? A lot of the guys were planning. I mean, AKA and Nasty shot that video a while back. The guy who shot it lives in America now. Nate, who does Uprooted Media and stuff.
Oh, he
was back. Yeah, he came back. He shot that video and he left. You know what I mean? So these are things that were in the pipeline and that were being planned. And maybe the dates shifted or whatever the situation is, but I don't think anyone went after that and started making music or made an album.
Yeah.
But maybe they did wait for a conversation of sorts. You know, that also could be the case. You know
Do you think more artists should have replied? To show that it's in good faith it's hip hop at the end of the day.
I think that would have been given it more space to get out of hand. You know,
like Duncan, ne?
Like
Duncan. Yo, Duncan.
Duncan was fighting, bro.
I don't know. That's my bror, man. Both the guys are my brors, you know. So, but I don't know how real it is, and I probably can't speak on it because I don't know much.
You don't
about
know,
it.
yeah.
But he said he was gonna slap you if you reply.
Me?
Zulu.
No, he didn't say Kwesta.
Oh, it says on the joint.
Slap if you reply. When you see each other, you're hugging each other.
They're taking pictures.
No, bro. I mean, that's what I'm saying. So the intent of that joint was probably, again, one of a positive one, but it's that's the joint led to a reply like Duncan's, maybe, which was clearly by popular opinion was very
personal.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, maybe a different strategy would have done it better. You know, maybe niggas should have all been on one joint. You know, maybe niggas should have done a concert. You know, maybe niggas. There's many other things that could have been done, but obviously because we're in like a generation that praises and lives on fucking shock value, integrity gets lost a little bit. Where it's just, I want them to talk now. I want them, you know, because concert so let's plan this book. Imali in. Don't take forever. This is the short way. This is the best way. This is more impactful, or this, that, and the third. But I mean, I get the strat part of it because we are a shock value people. We love that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, what did he say? It's literally why people. It's like when you gave me the call about sitting down and talking. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm not going to let it be one of the episodes where people go, oh, what do you say about who? You know what I'm saying? Because why I don't watch a lot of podcasts is because we lose a lot of the entertainment part, like the entertaining and information part, and we get too much of the, oh wait, he said what about what? It's like, and it's for that.
They popularize those clips.
Like ngifuna podcast engizoyilalela ngihleke, you know, ngiplome ngazi into bengingayazi, you know, what I think about so and so and blah blah, which sometimes is a question that has to be asked, vele. But I feel like sometimes, a lot of the times, it's the thing that people want the most.
Sure.
Yeah, if you're having a peaceful, nice chat like we've been having, you know what I'm saying.
But I've enjoyed doing it so much. This has been one of the smoothest.
Yeah, I know. I'm chilled. I'm loving
chilled.
it. I won't lie.
You're very chilled, ne? As a person, I would say. I would suspect that, you know, you kind of gave me that Black Label, Jita guy, you know, caught. Yeah, no, you kind of give me that vibe. After that whole drinking test in that music video, I was
no,
like,
but I'm that guy. What young nappy, man?
Sure.
But generally,
He really is.
no, you definitely are.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
I first of all, I would like to just say what I've been telling these gents for the longest time. I'll say, Kwesta is literally the dopest performer with the band. They don't believe me. They don't believe me. I've been saying for the longest time, like your sound with the band.
I do.
I mean, you've heard yourself, right?
Yeah. Oh, I've seen the footage and the impact afterwards.
Yeah, can I
I'll never
ask,
get to watch it
what
live.
drove you to do that? Because there's no rappers don't even have engineers
Growth,
just for themselves.
man. Growth. Otherwise, you're stuck in the club, you know?
there's
Then
more-
you don't get to do the gospel shows that you were talking about.
And
you
there's
know
more
what I mean?
money,
You know?
right?
And yeah, you can charge differently, you know? And also just growth, just in jail for yourself, you know? But I mean, that thing was a project that was done all together. Nota, myself, Fifi. There was a guy, Bega Corner in the picture, Urfil. And yeah, and it was like just about growth, just about, you know, let's see where else we could take it. You know,
but where to from now? Because I see with every project, everything you do, there's always like, you know, growth, elevation. You know.
Yeah, right now I'm quite the artist.
Oh yeah,
With God Gulova.
No, I just literally wrapped up an album. No Kabza.
Of course.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
You're coming with Kabza?
That shit's gonna be nuts.
Oh my gosh.
That shit's
Piano.
crazy.
You know, he loves piano so much, it feels like nothing can change or
No, that's the tricky part about it. It's
right
not
now.
a piano album.
It's quite
Yeah, it's like we found it. There's a thing we found, you know, that we have. It's not a piano
You're gonna
joint.
be wearing like a taxi driver also.
No, man,
Like
like
Panda,
little
you're
keys.
gonna
Pandas.
Panda,
Like it's the little
everything.
keys, fit on a sport, you know.
Yeah.
So can you talk
More
more
stuff.
about that's the tape? Maybe give us an insight, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's something I've been getting to know Kabza for a bit now, you know. I'd met him, I think, in 2020 and whatever. And again, I tried to respond. It never really happens. And
Through Pori, ne?
we met at I don't know, one of these lockdown shows, man. It was still during lockdown, and we're all going there to perform. And I'm not sure which channel and but he was there with Pori. Yeah.
Lockdown House
Shimon.
Party.
I think it's that, yeah. And I mean, obviously, I think, Pori was there. And we just, Skif. I was like, how's Melissa's band? Yeah, I know. And I think a whole year went by. And at some point, I just saw a pic. I'm like, and he just replied in the number. Yeah, you know, I just hit him up and I just went to the crib. And initially, they played me some of the hip hop stuff he's done, and you know, played me some of the stuff he has with artists. Yeah, in terms of beats and stuff, you know, and you know, and all the other artists he was working with and all of that. And then I jumped on some joints. I started rapping on some of the artists' joints and this, that, and the third. And then where we almost made it a big mistake was I started also getting on the Janos joints. But I don't say mistake because it's like then we wouldn't have found what we found if we had persisted with that.
Yeah.
Saiz, what as in, no man, as Miller's told us something. And it wasn't until we decided to work on a project that we decided to find the sound, right? Because we were just going to record on anything, blah, blah. I wasn't specifically working on anything.
What can one look forward to? Is it like a...
It's
Can
hood,
you give us like
bro.
2005 Kwaito?
Yes, it's not
Back then Kwaito.
yeah, it's not reminiscent of what. It's not like nonchalant. It's not, no. It's new, dog. It has some references of some things that make Kwaito. But it's brand new. It's like it's its own thing.
Who'd you have on that project? Who have you featured?
Jeez.
Let's talk.
Shitload
Young
of people
Stana,
there.
please.
Yeah, Stana's on it.
of course.
Yes.
Stana is on it. You know, Professor, Tira,
Yo.
Reason. I'm not sure who he is on the joint. I think I still need to ask him that because I need to write that shit down. But, for credits and shit. But, yeah, it's like a bunch of us, man. There's this masterpiece also,
Dope.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of us, man. It's dope though.
Nah.
It's pretty.
When
Doss is on the album also,
I can't wait, bro.
Like that's my proof. I like
Can
I
you
like what he
please
has
just
to
play
say.
like a 25-second snippet of the best song?
Come on, just one.
Not
You
happening.
can't do that.
Not happening.
Oh, wait.
I know
Not
we'll wait.
happening.
It's
Too
fine.
close to it. But I can tell you the title. It's called Speaking for Stan.
Speaking for Stan.
Yeah.
That's what I used
dope.
to say a lot. When you're shelling a girl, it's speaking for Stan.
Sure.
This is true.
Damn,
Now that's
bro.
dope. We can't wait for that.
That's
actually-
gonna be nuts, bro. It's really gonna be fucking insane. Like I promise you, it's
with your
It's insane.
new outlook on music, in terms of like your last hip hop album, do you think you have changed and like thought, okay, maybe South Africa is not the best place to drop a SA hip hop album right now because you've already succeeded in it?
I mean, it's not even like I don't think it's. A lot of the time when I get into the rap mind, I automatically want to talk about the problems and the shit, because that's like the most recent thing that happened to me as a fall of something that I was trying to build together with the gents, a fall of friendships, a fall of a company. And that's what I just wanted to make shit that made me happy, so I was back in my Kwaito bag, So it's not really about the climate, it's just my hip hop head right now is not where I want to sort of be, in terms of me as a human. It's like it feels like a downward spiral of just darkness right now. So I don't have a very amazing or happy relationship with my hip hop self right now because I don't want to get into that dark place.
That conversation.
Yeah, I just I just want to vibe. And Nakona is not shooting myself because whatever problems I have, I can talk about it. I can, I mean, I go to therapy. I'm a guy who's learned how to talk about into mhlupha, so it's not like I'm using the music to hide what I'm dealing with my shit my way.
So what does
but I
God
want to make
Kuluva
happy
mean?
Music.
What does God Kuluva mean?
It's my name.
God Kuluva.
Yeah.
Kwesta.
I mean, it was God, which is the ghost of DaKar. I mean, one word, DaKar, which is Sampagile, Sampil. So the God stands for ghost and, ghost of DaKar. And the Kuluva Vele is just generally what I've always been, God Kuluva Guru is just something I've said in songs on DaKar too. It's just another nickname for, just for myself and how I feel about things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, before we end it off, I want to know, what's your top 5 best SA hip hop artists of all time?
My top 5 best SA hip hop artists of all time.
Yeah.
Jesus, a lot of these people are acquaintances, people I run into,
Start off something.
It's a battle. It's not
This is
beef.
how that shit starts. It's a battle. It's not beef. Gotcha. In order, or just 5 names.
In
From
order.
number 1.
Jeez.
From number 1. Cancel everyone else. No hope. Or you can start from 5 and make them feel like they're gonna be number 1 and they never reach there.
No, I'll start from probably 1 and go to like being number 1 being the best.
Yeah.
That's Pro Kid.
Pro Kid.
And I'm not gonna make like let's give a shout out to the legends or whatever.
Oh, like an
or my
honorable-
friends or whatever. Yeah. I'm
Mention.
just gonna make what I think, really. Proverb.
2 pros at top 2.
Yeah. Kid X.
Kid X. Whoa.
These two confuse me. I don't know if it's Kid X or the other guy and then Kid X. It's weird. But Ginger Trill.
Ginger Trill.
Yeah.
From what you've through.
Yeah. It's been my favorite for a while.
Last one. If I was yours, gonna name myself, but it's
It's just too easy a job, Ish. All time also is such a long time. I'd say of all time.
This is for you though. This doesn't, we don't have to go into stats. just about a personal feeling.
Just the skill
Yes.
of being able to rap.
Mm.
You know? Oh no, if it's based on that and not about what a person has done and this, that, and what
For you,
impact.
based on you.
Touchline.
Touchline.
Shout out.
Yeah.
No, that's a...
And that's a solid
your
list.
touchline is in
Solid.
Kwesta's top 5.
But I have to say though, that's a very
I've said it many
Underground
times.
list.
Every chance I get.
that's a very rapper list, eh?
Yeah, I know.
That's a
that's
rapper's
it's
list.
based on skill and ability to rap. You know,
Yeah.
not your how many records were sold.
Sure,
About, what have you
exactly,
done?
yeah.
No.
You a rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like you really rap. You know, you come from battle rapping.
Yeah.
How do bros like Touchline and Ginger Troll make it out of that little, that little murky place where it's like you
impress
almost like that
people.
space between the come up and the actual
yes,
pop.
the come up and because we all know these guys fucking rap.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And they're really good at what they're doing. That's not a debate.
Yeah.
But like, how do you get out of that space? Even for like the upcoming rappers who look at Ginger Troll, but they feel like they have to go super commercial or super bubblegum.
I mean, I just think you work on the music, you know, and I'm not saying you become a little less of a rapper, but when you are rapping, make the music great. You know, if the sole focus is for me to know how dope you are on everything that you do, then, you know, I'll always see you as that. You know, I won't go, oh, my favorite joint is, oh, this song changed my life. So the more you work on the music and not how you sit, or not only the technicalities of the raps, just the music, from why is that guitar there? Why is that why choose that snare? Why choose this beat? Is it because it's been here all day or for 5 years and now you feel like you must? And also just try and look at what the people are bumping. And I'm not saying duplicate that, but certain things go with, there's certain vibes. I mean, we come from, there was one time even EDM, type vibe, you know, and we went into, the almost whispering, singing, you know, Summer Walker type thing. You know, there's just always a certain, and then there's drill and all those things. So, and I'm not saying steal or anything, but be aware of what the people are listening to, because the raps, what make you a big artist is people and their interpretation of your shit. It's that. So if you still doing it for me, and I already think you're dope, then you have reasons to do it, right? Because I already think you're dope. Or must you keep reminding me, Njalo? So you also have to challenge yourself and kind of go, wait, let me speak to those guys. You know, let me do my shit for those guys. What do those guys like? You know? So the more you challenge yourself also, that's when the music gets better and you try other things. Well, a lot of the times we want to stay safe because I know I'm dope at this particular way of rapping. It's too scary to go there, understand. So it's, but that's also how you grow. So I think the more you focus on the music and literally just study market, man, just, you know, just see what the people feel like or where the vibes is at in terms of the flow of that time. What's the youth listening to? Are you speaking to the youth? Are you speaking to the grown guys? You know, all those things kind of matter and shape you into becoming a followable person, because sometimes you're just dope and people but won't follow, but they know you're dope.
I would say from your list, it just raised a question in my head, because all of them on that list, maybe excluding Proverb, are very strong, capable Vrnek rappers.
Yeah.
So I would just want to know from you, what's actually SA hip hop? Like, what is it? Because there's a talk of SA hip hop is what now, originally what SA hip hop is what Amapiano Cats are doing on.
So SA hip hop is hip hop that talks about what happens in SA.
It's not even a style.
It shouldn't be. I mean, some people would prefer it to be. If I'm rapping on a house joint, I'm a rapper on a house joint. You know what I mean? If I'm rapping on a gospel joint, I'm a rapper on a gospel joint. It's what I rap about that kind of makes it South African hip hop, because it's, I mean, yes, there's the traditional boom bap, but you know, everything has, in terms of music in general, has transformed into something else, has morphed into something else, has like the hip hop is not the same as it was in 1945 when it began, right? Or whenever. I just know what, the 11th of August, which is my birthday. Yeah. That's the day.
It just turned 50 years old. I think this year.
Damn, bro. That's
special.
I'm
saying it doesn't sound like that anymore, right? It's turned into many other things. It's taken up many forms of this shit. So, and we can't just stop it just so we give it a title that says South African hip hop. If it has to take on other forms, it has to take on other forms.
So Amapiano rap is SA hip hop. Would you consider that? Like what Tos does?
If the guys that are doing it are rappers, yes.
Yeah.
So Tos, if you
Tos is a rapper.
He's rapping.
Tos is a rapper. He's a rapper. Pantsula man, rap.
Mm.
You know,
Yes,
he's rapping on these
Pantsula.
beats, bro. He's rapping. And then he'll throw in that hook. I'm not.
But you guys, actually, though, I want to hear you guys together.
Yeah,
I'm so looking forward to it, bro.
It's so dope. And that joint is so good. It's also gonna catch people a little.
Of God.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Oh wait, what you did
Kwesta,
that?
do you have a dance for it?
I have no
You
doubt.
need to hook up those for.
Yeah, you need to
Ask those for a dance.
I need those to hook me up.
Yeah, young TikTok nyana to make that shit go, you know.
Nah, bro, I don't have a dance for it.
But yeah,
Bro,
this has
shout
been
out,
so
man.
cool, bro.
This was
Thank you so
hella
much for your
cool,
time, the
hella
hospitality,
Shout out,
everything.
my
You know
G's.
what I mean?
You know,
This has been
all good.
Kwesta DaKar.
Yes, sir.
You know,
Thank you so much,
God
bro.
Gulova.
God
Yes, sir.
Guluva. Now Spanzula.